Welcome back, guys. My guest today, I'm very honored. He is the creator of LightSpeed VT. He is the host of the Dropping Bombs podcast. He is entrepreneur extraordinaire, and he's who I want to be when I grow up. Is Mr. Bradley. How you doing today, Brad?
Man, if I was any better, bro, I'd be donuts.
There's nothing better than donuts. I heard you say that in Frisco, man.
Dude, donuts.
They'll
better?
They mess up your diet, man. They're great, though. They are. They're terrific. Hey, so the first thing I want to talk about is you did something that people are having a really hard time to do, but you did it organically, and you got 1 million followers on Instagram. And it's not like some trick you learned in a book or anything like that. You grinded. I remember you were at like 600K when I went on your podcast that other time. A lot of people are having a lot of trouble growing, and you hit 1 million. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, I don't know what the secret was. I remember I talked to your social media people. I'll tell you, my social media team, when they ask me how many reels I want to post a day, the first thing I say is, what is Brad doing?
Well, that's good. You know, I'll tell you, here's my secret, if it's a secret. Number one, most people are trying to create content when I tell people to be the content.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, you can't keep up because you're trying to create. But when you be the content, you're you all day long.
Yeah.
So if you had a camera just following you around all day long, you'd have tons of content.
Yeah.
And then that content would be posted on 6 main channels 3 to 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, that's what we do. We were doing 4 for a while, and then we did 3 for a while, and I was like, whatever Brad's doing, that's what we're going to start doing. We used, one of the things is we started taking like 10 clips out of each one of the episodes, out of the podcast episodes. We haven't done the face-on thing that you're doing. That's really cool with the bokeh light where I think you're talking to your sales team. Is that what's going on when you're doing those other reels?
Yeah, I'm talking to somebody.
Yeah.
It could be the camera guy. But what we do is we create topics of discussion.
Yeah.
I call them intentionals, and they ask me questions like, what do I think about this? What do I think about that? And then they'll just let me rip.
Yeah.
Like, what do I think about this? What do I think about that? I don't know. Like, ask me, and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And then that becomes a clip. And usually a controversial clip.
Yeah.
Like I said the other day. Like, when I was on this show last, I said I'm not cheating no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? People are, oh, this guy fucking. Guys, listen, cheating's a choice.
Right.
So I don't do it. Why? Because I think it would make, in other words, I'm cheating on me.
Yeah.
Now, why would I cheat on me? I like me.
Yeah.
I respect me, right? And so I don't cheat on me. And that is cheating on me, not cheating on her. So a lot of people gave me hate about that. I don't really care. Why? Because I don't need other people's opinion to validate mine. So I think that authenticity helps with the content, because I'm not trying to say something where you'll think I'm cool. In fact, it's opposite usually. It's like most people don't think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you should cheat on women. Sosnick asked me the other day on his podcast, well, what about a high value man that cheats? I said, there's no such thing.
I remember I watched that.
Yeah, there's no such thing, bro. If you cheat, you're not a high value man.
Because you're lying. Like what they're doing is conflating your ability to attract other women with your integrity, and your integrity is part of your value. I'm making your point. Yeah,
it is for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, he goes, so you don't agree with Andrew Tate? And I'm like, well, I don't fucking know. What does Andrew Tate say? Because I mean, I don't know if I agree with him or not. What does he say? Does he think you should be allowed to cheat? I think not.
What I think things have changed a little bit with Andrew because he converted to Islam, and I think
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
There you go. He's watching. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. The thing that what I was going to say is Sneako's like this dude. Sneeko converted to Islam, and in those cases, what they would rather have is single monogamous relationships, but with multiple women. So a polygynous lifestyle where they're open and honest with everyone. Does that make sense?
Yes, but that's not an ethical issue.
So you agree that's not an ethical issue.
No.
That's not cheating.
That's not cheating.
So I think
if me and my wife says, hey, we like people in our affairs.
Yeah.
And she's like, dude, you can go whack whoever you want as long as I can taste them once in a while.
Yeah.
Or some fucking, swinger type comment. Good for you. You got lucky. You got yourself a nice little situation.
Yes.
But when I say to a female, I'm not going to have sex with other women and you cannot have sex with other men, we will be together. We will commit to each other. Then it is cheating.
Yeah.
And so is getting whacked off at the rub and tug.
Shout out to Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, listen, you go in, it's like, hey, it's just part of the massage. You're just rubbing another part of the body.
Yeah.
No, that's cheating.
Yeah, the lying, I think, is the main issue, is what you're saying, like the ethical nature of it.
It's simple, yeah.
I
So,
think-
so I don't know what Andrew Tate thinks.
Right.
If he thinks, no, you should be able to, if you're a high value man, you should be able to hump whoever you want. Okay, that's cool. However, if you're saying and you're telling some girl that you're committed and then you're cheating, you're not a high value man, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I mean, again, technically you're an unethical motherfucker. But am I allowed to cuss on this show?
Much as you want. You asked the last time. You can
I know,
cuss
but
as much
you're
as you
getting
want.
pretty commercial with this deal. This
Hey,
thing's,
you think so? Well, tell me about, how do you think I'm getting commercial? I'm
well,
curious.
it's getting almost like it's a show. It's not even a podcast anymore.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Because of the intro?
Yeah, and the people you got coming on, you got all the big wigs now.
I got Brad. You're bigger than almost anybody I have on.
You got the intros going. You
Yeah.
got all the cameras and shit. Like, I need to do this to my studio. What's going on?
Brad, we all just sit here and copy you, man.
We're
Seriously.
good. Hey, you're
Listen.
doing a good job.
Yeah.
You've outdone me.
I don't know. I love your studio. Your studio is great. I like your little the desk that you have, the sound effects, everything. We're thinking about getting a stream deck. You know what I'm talking about with the sound effects? That's what probably the next thing we're going to do. I'll tell you what's worked really well for me, and you might want to consider, is the panel shows. Those things do really well. So it would be like whatever podcast, Fresh and Fit, Pearl Davis, but other people do these panel shows, and they do them live stream. That was something that was an epiphany I've had since the last time I went on your show, was that live streams, YouTube rewards live streams a lot. They're giving a lot of credit to it. So do you remember Reels started getting more attention than regular posts because they were competing with TikTok? I think live streams are getting more attention on YouTube because they're competing with Rumble now. Because Rumble is a place where people who have differing opinions or politically conservative opinions can go there and they won't get banned. And so what's happened is YouTube has loosened the reins on some of the things you can talk about. Remember, there were certain things you'd get banned for talking about on YouTube maybe a couple years ago, especially during the pandemic. And then now they've loosened the reins on those things. And now when you go live, which means you're competing directly with Rumble, they're actually giving people like a lot more views. I'm like 10x more views on when I do a live stream than when I do videos like this.
I don't really pay attention to that shit.
Yeah?
believe it or not.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think I'm like a content creator. I'm not really. I'm a businessman who puts content out to hopefully, avoid some people some problems.
Yeah. What do you think are the biggest pieces of advice you've learned recently? Is there anything?
When you say recently, I don't know. I mean, I think it's always a culmination of things. But, I think recently I've remembered things, not necessarily learned them. Because when you really learn something, you think to yourself, well, I knew that.
Yeah.
Well, you just weren't observing it, right? So maybe I say I remember things. So, it depends on what category you're talking about. Because again, I mean, I always assume everybody's asking me about entrepreneur shit.
Right.
I mean, what do you want to know? Like, to me, mindset, skill set, and habits. Like, there's no secret to it. How do you get successful? Focus on your mindset, focus on your skill set, focus on your habits. If your mindset's fucked up, you ain't going anywhere, bro.
Right.
If your skill sets aren't that snazzy, you probably ain't going anywhere either.
And you can't solve a problem if you don't have the skills.
I know, but you've seen these positive ass people walking around all positive and shit, and they're still losers. Why? Because they don't practice. They don't get any skills and talents. They're just literally trying to rely on positivity, and that doesn't work all the time. Again, it's better than being negative for sure. So mindset, skill set, and habits. So the skill set comes in. You got to practice. You got to put in the work. 10,000 hours, like they say. And then the habits, man. What are you doing every day? There's people that literally, if they just audited their day, they would realize why they're not successful. Just audit your day. What are you doing all day? What are you thinking about? What are you focusing on? And people will eventually realize they're not focusing on shit except problems and negativity and drama and frickin' the past. They're not thinking about solutions. They're not asking the right questions to the right people. You got to ask the right questions to the right people.
Yeah.
You ask the right question to the wrong person, you're not going to get where you're going. You ask the wrong question to the right person, you're not going to get where you're going. You have to literally ask the right question to the right person to get the answer you're looking for, and then you got to do the work.
Yeah. One thing I didn't realize, I was watching an interview you did the other day. I didn't realize LightSpeed VT was that old. It was 1999 when you started doing this?
That's right. That's right.
And in this time, like, is it just to explain to the audience, you're filming? So a lot of stuff we may have seen Tony Robbins do, or Grant Cardone, they came into your studios in Las Vegas and filmed it?
That's right.
That's nice. Okay. So the business model is they come in, and also you probably have done something like government safety work. Have you ever done anything like that? Like,
yeah, we've done stuff for states and like in Dubai.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you teach a course with it? Because I've seen your ads. You do this thing out of your new ads where it goes, "Hey, stop scrolling." You know the ad I'm talking about?
That's old, but yeah.
Yeah. With those ads, are they teaching are you selling a course that goes along with your LightSpeed VT, or is this just access to LightSpeed VT? I'm trying to understand like the total business model here.
Well, the LightSpeed business model is pretty simple. If you're going to go, there's two models. Mm-hmm. Number one, if you have a company and you plan on growing and scaling your company, my question to you would be, what does your training system look like? Most companies, they don't have training systems. They might have training videos, but a video isn't a system. And most have no training system. So I sell companies that intend to grow and scale and, operate a training system. And they love it and they see it and they realize how valuable it is and they implement it. That's one model, internal training.
Yeah.
And then I help subject matter experts sell courses or ultimately get their knowledge out to the world, because my mission is to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it, because I think the reason people fail is because they don't have the right information. My dad, hard-working dude, blue collar his whole life, didn't have the right information. If he had the right information, he would have been rich and successful too. He didn't have the right information. He was told blue collar's the way to go.
Yeah.
And my whole family is pretty much blue collar. And now I'll say, I just said the other day on social media, got a bunch of flack for it. If you don't think you're worth more than $20 an hour, well then, dude, you need to start, working on your self-worth. You want to raise your net worth, raise your self-worth. People are like, there's nothing wrong with blue collar work, Brad. It runs the country. I didn't say there's anything wrong with it. Did I?
No.
I said you should think you're worth more than $20 an hour. They're the ones saying that that's bad then. It's not bad then. You should be worth more. You should feel like you're worth more. And the reason why you work for $20 an hour is because you don't think you're worth any more than that.
Right.
And how do I know? Well, why would you trade an hour of your time for $20 if you think your hour is worth more?
I remember when I was a little kid, the idea of making $20 an hour. I'm 45 years old. So when I was 16 years old, the idea of making $20 an hour, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm rich. I could pay for gas.
I wish you had a camera right here.
What?
Looking at me.
Oh, you just look at that one right there.
I can turn them on if you want, Michael.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. but now I'm looking at the viewer. I'm looking at
There we go. You're looking at the viewer.
How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to talk to him by looking at you.
There you go.
This will seem like an awkward interview, but you're forcing me to do this. Or now they're seeing the old turkey goblet.
So
if there was a freaking dead on right here,
but we can try to turn that one on here.
I look better dead on.
Yeah,
than the side.
I mean, most podcasts they are kind of from the side, like Joe Rogan and them. Like that's how they do it.
Yeah.
But yours isn't. Yours is you have two face-on cameras and you're like at a 45-degree angle from each other.
You know why?
Why?
Because I try to make people look good.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them their worst side or their turkey necks gobbling because they're sideways.
You don't have a bad side,
dude. Last time I was here, when I saw the video, I was in that white sweater, and my head looked huge. I've got a picture in my phone right now. I must have been way heavier.
I think you were, yeah.
Yeah,
I think I noticed when I saw you in Dallas. I thought you were.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, well, dude, you got all these chicks that you hang around, and you're like freaking. So they're gonna watch it, and they're gonna see me, and they're gonna think, oh, he's cute. Shit. When I saw it, I'm like, fuck. I look like a big fat ass. I probably still do, but I'm getting in better shape now. You see.
I did notice that.
Yeah, I'm starting to work out, starting to, keep it down. I'm doing it gradual so it's sustainable.
Do you have a trainer?
No.
No?
I don't like being told what to do.
Do you have, so I think nutrition, you're a little older than me, but at our age, you can't outrun a bad diet. That's something that has really stuck with me.
But I disagree with that.
Well, I think at some point, if you starve, well, no,
I've done it my whole life.
Outrun a bad diet? Right, but I mean, there's a certain amount of calories you have to burn off at some point. You're just going to do cardio until you burn it off.
No, what I'm saying is, if you have a bad diet and you work out really hard, you can get away with it.
It's hard, man. I mean,
you can get away with it.
The thing is, the effort for me to eat the donut in comparison to the amount of time it takes me to burn the same 400 calories, it's really hard on the joints, and it gets harder as I get older.
Well, again, you're an intellect.
Yeah,
I'm not.
You are, Brad. What are you talking about? You're an intellect. Of course you are. I see the Ferrari outside. You're an intellect.
I'm not an intellect.
I mean, we all look to you for advice, man.
Well, that's because I'm a philosopher.
Yeah.
The other day I had a guy on my show, he was a philosopher, had a degree.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm a philosopher. And he said, where'd you get your degree? And I said, I don't have a degree. He looks at me, I'm all puzzled. Dude, look at the definition of philosopher.
Agreed.
Anyone can be a philosopher. Yeah. I'm a philosopher.
I am an amateur astronomer. You do not have to have a PhD to have to be considered an astronomer. It's the same kind of thing with philosopher. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, again, I'm still wondering about the whole. I ain't wondering about flat Earth. I think that's kind of stupid. So although, you know, I want to hear a good argument. I like good arguments, but when it comes to the moon landing,
yeah. Do you remember?
I do not believe that.
Do you remember my argument?
Yeah, you said, you know, back then it was skinny and up there you don't need the stable and all this bullshit.
But do you have a problem with that? So you do admit that the moon exists. The moon's 238,000 miles away. We know that because we can shine a light up there and it comes back. We know the distance to the moon. It's 2.2 seconds. So divide that by 2. It's 1.1 seconds.
When did we go there? What year?
Oh, 69.
I don't believe it.
Why not? I'm just curious.
Because they didn't have fucking a VCR back then.
Well, I agree with what you're saying.
Okay. They don't have the technology
but
to
they
get
did
to the fucking moon. They don't have it now.
They did have the transition.
They don't have it now.
Okay, two different things.
They lost it. Oh, we lost it.
All right.
We had it, but we lost it. Where's all the tapes? Oh, fuck. Someone
we do have
videotaped over them.
Wait a minute. We have tons of tapes. What are you doing?
Go look at the tapes. You can see strings. You can see fake shit. I bet you anything it was fake.
All right, here we go. You're conflating two different things. Number one, a computational ability that we had. You're saying because we have more computational ability in our cell phone than we had on Apollo 11. You are correct, but the physics that was done in order to do that, we understood that physics going all the way back to the 1680s. So the idea that we couldn't, just because we don't do things by hand now, doesn't mean we couldn't have. And just because the computers aren't as fast as they are now, doesn't mean they didn't have any computers. They did have computers that could do simple mathematics.
Yeah.
We knew what the escape velocity for the planet Earth is. We knew
how did we lose it?
Huh?
How did we lose
it?
it?
So we're going to get to the second part. So what you're talking about is computational technology, and then the second thing is what we lost. We didn't lose the computational technology. We just don't have a functioning Saturn V rocket right now.
Why?
And like I said before,
why not?
You were the one who answered this question. I said, can Chevy make a 1965 Impala? And you said yes. Do they make a 1965 Impala? And you said no. Because just because we don't make Saturn V rockets anymore doesn't mean we can't. We still understand the physics on how to make them.
But Chevy still makes cars.
Chevy still makes cars, but Chevy doesn't have the necessity. Chevy doesn't have the necessity to boost a car at 11 miles per second. So the reason why is once we got to the end of the SDS program, I'm sorry, the beginning of the SDS program, the end of the Apollo program, Apollo 17, somewhere around there, 1972, in front of Nixon, he had a bill, and the bill was either do we save up a bunch of money and spend everything to try to go to Mars, or do we do this STS program, which is what eventually we started doing, which is these low Earth orbit, the Space Shuttle Columbia, Space Shuttle Discovery, all that kind of stuff. We did 250, 300 something missions doing that. We put the Hubble telescope up there. So you do understand, you do agree, is there an ISS up there? Do you not think there is an ISS? I mean, do you understand that would be a pretty massive amount of data, the fact that we could get something that big up there? You can see it with a telescope. You don't think there's an International Space Station?
When you look at the video of the moon landing in 1969, the unit that landed, what was that called?
It's a lander. It's just called the lander, the Eagle.
And then the car they were driving around.
That was not 11. That was 12 or 13, Apollo 12 or Apollo 13. That was not Apollo 11.
It wasn't on the moon?
It was on the moon. It wasn't so remember, there's 6 missions that land on the moon.
Did you see the ship that landed?
Yes.
And did you see the car that was on the moon?
Yeah.
How did that fit in there?
It didn't fit in there. Well, again, it's the weight thing that you keep forgetting. Like, if you weigh 3, so let's say I have a pack. I'm 220. Let's say I have an 80-pound pack on. I weigh 300 pounds. On the moon, I weigh 50 pounds. Right? So just imagine a go-kart when you go over to Valley High, one of the places over here. Just imagine that. You and me could pick that thing up together now. So you take something like that with a little bit more structural integrity and bigger wheels, and you make it electric. You could, something like that
but
would...
how do you fit it in a small...
You probably assemble it. I could go look that up, but that's not something... That's not, like, it's not...
I can't believe you just hook, line, and sinker.
It's not an engineering problem that's difficult to solve, though. Like, because the first time you do it, I could see it as being a difficulty. But once they understand...
1969.
Again, so the problem is this. This is where people...
They can't even have a television. Well, they don't have flat screens.
So they
don't have cell phones.
You're conflating digital technology with science. These are two different things. We understood how quantum mechanics worked in the 1920s. We fully had a grasp on aeronautics before that, in like the 19-teens. The physics and the science don't change. Our understanding of physics in 1969 is about the same as it is now. What we have now is faster transistors and smaller smaller cards with which to do more data on. We have faster microprocessors, yes.
We have
but
better technology.
Right, correct. But the laws of physics are the same. And I can prove it to you because you're using a gasoline-powered engine in that Ferrari, and they were using gasoline-powered engines that are similar to that in a Ferrari in 1969. Now, what we have better now,
technology.
right, but what we have now is better carbon fiber. We have better ability to do some of these things, but the laws of physics haven't changed.
Yeah, but what's the point? No one's saying the laws of physics have changed.
Yeah, because the laws of physics, understanding the laws of physics is how you get on the moon, not a better calculator, not a faster computer.
So if I take a slingshot that's poorly designed and poorly made because I don't have
But they weren't poorly made. They weren't
Sure
poorly
they
made.
were. Did you see them in the videos?
What do you mean?
They were flimsy ass
Flimsy
little
doesn't
things
mean
with fucking
flimsy.
tin foil.
Flimsy doesn't mean poorly made though. Like you could say,
Yeah, I disagree.
you've
Flimsy
seen,
usually means poorly made.
but no, what you're talking about is the outside part where you see they covered the joints with gold, with the gold plated stuff that looks like foil. The reason why they have to do that is because when they're in space, they're rotating. When they're on the ground, the one side of it is constantly being baked by the sun, so they have to cover some of those joints with some reflective material. So foil will work just as well as anything else, and it doesn't weigh very much.
Well, you're clearly convinced.
It's not that I'm convinced. It's just no one's even come close to convincing me that we have it. The math is clear. Like the math that you have to do.
Do you invite people on that
all the time? Yeah, it's not. It's
I
not
don't
an issue.
study the shit, so I'm not going to debate.
But no one who's like read Principia and has an understanding of how like thrust vectors work is sitting there like, yeah, there's no way we could have gone to the moon. Of course, it's easy. And then the Van Allen belt nonsense, like that's another one. Some people started saying that when I went on your show, and I'm like, you're traveling at 11 miles a second. Like the Van Allen belt is not going to radioactively cook anybody going through it. Not at that speed.
So how come we can't go there again?
We absolutely can. We said, but here's the
Why
thing.
don't
But
we?
here's the problem. You keep saying we can't, but yet there's photographs from the Indian Space Administration, the Russian Space Administration, the European Space Administration, all showing pictures of the lander that is sitting there in the Sea of Tranquility right now. All three of them. Here's my question to you.
That's with a telescope. They didn't visit there.
No, they did. There's a orbiting satellite. Let's do
So how many people landed on the moon?
12. Let's
No. How many different countries landed
Just
on
one.
the moon?
Right. Well, let me ask you a question.
So everybody's racing to get to the moon, and America does it, and everyone goes, fuck it, we don't need to go.
Yeah.
They've already won.
Okay, so here's my question.
Bullshit.
So what other country could have landed on the moon?
Apparently none.
Yeah, because what other country?
They didn't have the technology.
It's not have the
They
technology.
didn't have the tinfoil.
They didn't have the GDP. They didn't have the GDP to do it. They couldn't continue to spend. We found
Russia
no, they didn't. See, that's the thing. That's the big one. Let me ask you something right now. What is the United States GDP right now? Do you know what it is?
No idea.
$23 trillion. That's a quarter of the world's GDP. Okay.
What percentage of that do I get?
That's up to you, man. That's how hard you work. My question is, what's Russia's GDP? Russia's this big, bad competitor of ours. We have a $23 trillion GDP. What's Russia's?
Probably a fraction.
It's 1.7 trillion. Russia has a GDP on par with Mexico. And you're like, whoa, why didn't they go to the moon? Because they don't have any money. That's why they couldn't make it to the moon. Their form of communism didn't work. And it's this idea of because they put Yuri Gagarin in orbit, that all they have to do is just keep pushing forward and they get to the moon. It's exponentially more expensive. That's the part that people have an issue with. Here's the thing. Here, I'm going to put you on the defensive. You answer this question. Okay. Why does Nikita Khrushchev...
Don't even know who that is.
He was the Soviet prime minister, or he was the head of Russia, the Soviet Union, when the moon landing happened. Why does Nikita Khrushchev congratulate the United States for landing on the moon?
I don't know.
No, you do know.
No, I don't.
You do know. They had the technology to see that we went there. They knew we could. Hold on. We're about to go to nuclear war with them, but you think they're going to
vaccinated?
Huh?
Did you get vaccinated?
Did you?
No.
You said you did.
Hell
you came on my podcast
You're
and you said
lying
you did.
ass motherfucker.
Okay, ready?
I've never.
We're going to play this back. I know.
You play that shit back.
I know you didn't. You said you did on my show.
Well, I might have went, yeah,
Yes, exactly.
sure I did.
Exactly.
But no, I've been clear since day one, and that's the beautiful thing about social media. You can go back since day one.
Yes.
I've been batting 1,000 since it started.
I'm with you.
But did you get it?
I was a military officer, yeah.
So you believe that shit?
Well, I believed it, yeah.
Now do you know that it was bullshit?
I think that what happened was draconian, like that we didn't need to have...
Yeah, but do you believe now it was bullshit?
What do you mean?
It's a scam.
I don't know if it's a scam.
It's a scam,
I don't
dude.
think
they shut down the world. They fucking transferred
yes.
billions of dollars to certain people only.
Okay.
You
Masks?
mom and pop couldn't be open, but
Correct.
this big fucker
Totally agree.
could. Like, dude, it was a scam. It was a setup. And the facts are out now. People know now.
Okay.
Like, if you still want to deny that that was a scam, guys, go do some research. The facts have been released. Like, it's a scam.
Yes.
And so you were wrong.
What are you talking about? I didn't say it was a scam. I didn't say it wasn't a scam. I didn't say, no, hold on, Brad.
You got a vaccination.
Right, but these are three different things. Masks, the mandates.
And I hope, by the way, little fist bump.
Yeah.
Then nothing happens to you because like shit. There's some shit happening to vaccinating people.
Well, since I got the vaccine, and I'm not correlating this, I have a new bench press max. I'm dating a 21-year-old girl, and I started an 8-figure business. But besides that, besides that, Brad, the point is like, do I think it's a scam? Yes. Do I think Democrats were using this as leverage to try to force in things like privatized healthcare? Of course I do. I don't disagree with that. But the idea that every single person who's sticking anyone with a needle is sitting there some sociopathic, corrupt individual. No,
they don't know any better.
Okay, that's fine. I'm with you on that. But what I think is the idea of coming up with a vaccine at the beginning of the pandemic seemed like a rational idea, and I do think it helped some people. The problem is we didn't need to do this for fucking 15 months. You and I will agree on this. That was ridiculous. What DeSantis was doing to try to get his state back open was the correct thing to do, and what Mayor Goodman was doing here was the correct thing to do. Having masks for maybe the first 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, maybe we didn't know what we were dealing with. I could possibly see that. The idea, though, that we did it for 15 months, that is too much. I will agree with you somewhere in the middle. Do I think it's a scam? Yes. Do I think both sides of the political aisle were trying to use it? For sure. Because when this whole vaccine, which, by the way, DeSantis and Trump are both triple vaccinated, when Trump was sitting there funding the vaccine, Democrats were like, there's no way I'm taking that fucking vaccine. And then when Biden got in office and started administering the vaccine, then Republicans were like, there's no way I'm taking that vaccine. So the thing is, I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. I don't think the truth is where Alex Jones and fucking Kyrie Irving are saying it is. And I think the truth is not where fucking, what's his name, Fauci and that one professor that won't debate Joe Rogan. The truth is somewhere in the middle. I truly believe that. This idea that all of these people are just horribly nefarious, no, I think that's way oversimplification of the world. All right, man.
Well, I mean, again, technically, I would agree with that, but you know.
Yeah, 15 months was ridiculous. Someone should go to jail for that.
There are some nefarious motherfuckers.
Agreed. I totally agree.
And I think they took advantage of people. Why? Because your average person, and me and you are average.
Yeah.
Your average person is a fucking a herd to them.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, they used us. They scammed us. They scammed. And there's some very powerful people because all the countries fell for it. And by the way, when people fell for it, they agreed to do it. Like, again, it was a scam. I guarantee you there's people in a high enough position in life, and basically it's money. Because if you think about it, listen to this. What if you were, let's say, a governor? And by the way, you know, your state runs on a bunch of federal funding.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, if you don't go with this, you're not getting any funding.
Yes.
Well, now you're voting for shit you shouldn't be voting for because you're scared of money.
By the way, I don't know if you know this. The reason why the drinking age in the state of Louisiana is no longer 18 is exactly why what you just said. The federal government came down and said, we're not giving you money for highways unless you make the drinking age 21. So that's an example of what you're talking about. Yes.
So in what state is that?
Louisiana.
So what is the age of sexual consent in Louisiana?
I don't know. It's either 18
Let's
or 17.
look it up.
Every state's 18 or 17. Let me see here.
No, there's 16. Nevada's 16.
Is Nevada 16?
Yeah.
I thought it was 17.
16 years old.
Age.
There's some that are 14, believe it or not.
Wait, states?
Yeah. I think it's Alabama.
17.
17 years old. So they're saying they can't drink until they're 21, but you can start fucking them at 17.
Yeah.
Who's making the laws?
I think
a bunch of
ridiculous.
old perverted son of a bitches?
Yes. I don't disagree with that at all.
Like, hey, when should we let them drink? You know, 21. When can they go to war and die? 18. When can we start fucking them? 17. All in favor? You know, come on. Like, you don't think there's anything wrong with that?
Of course I do.
These lawmakers, they're when they say the wolf's guarding the hen house.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. These lawmakers, these politicians, both sides, they're criminals.
Agreed.
And they're leveraging the laws which they make, and they make them.
Yeah.
Legislation. You know, they're not going to change any law that affects them. If we say, hey, we want term limits, that's never going to happen.
Of course.
Why? Because term limits would hinder them.
It would hinder them, exactly.
When you go and you look at Pelosi and Biden and the Biden family and all the evidence that's coming out, and that we have evidence, and all the shit Alex Jones talked about, a lot of it, what turned out to be true. So, not that, you know, Biden's a lizard, which turns out maybe it's true somewhere. I don't know. But
Here we go.
No,
Thank you.
I don't go that far. But but I know that Hunter Biden was on videotape fucking smoking crack and humping children.
Yes.
Why is he not in prison?
Right. I don't disagree with any of that.
I know that the FBI was on the Democratic Party side to go fuck with Trump. The FBI, okay? They should not be. So, I mean, there was some seriously fucked up shit discovered and witnessed, and there's nothing happening, which tells you, dude, it's all a fucking scam. It's all a joke.
To me, the turning point should have been when the state of Florida decided to keep everything open and the country of Sweden decided to keep everything open, and we were told that massive amounts of people were going to die in those states, and they didn't. At that point, look, the thing is, I will.
Do you think everybody honestly believed they would?
I don't know. I don't think everyone did. Of course not. I didn't believe they would. I thought the ideas that they had were good. And like I listened to Ben Shapiro talk about this the other day, and I agree. This was something very dangerous for older people who had middle respiratory infections, and they could end up suffocating. I totally understand that. Younger people would catch it, and then they would get over it. It would suck for some people. It would, like, the variation of like symptoms for COVID was also something that was very different. Well, my point is, once the evidence, I was always an evidence-based person. Once Sweden took their experiment and decided we're not going to close down anything, and then they didn't have massive amounts of deaths, because had Sweden bit the bullet and there was a ton of deaths, then we would have changed our policies. Had the state of Florida,
yeah, but they had the least.
That's exactly my point. When you see the state of Florida and the state of California, what should have happened is Gavin Newsom should have witnessed what DeSantis was doing, and if it worked, he should have changed his own political opinion. But he didn't, because he's a politician. I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
Because he's crooked.
Agree. I think Gavin Newsom should be in prison. I totally agree with you. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Gavin's doing what he's told.
Of course. I don't disagree with that. The point you were trying to make, though, was this idea, like, in the beginning, in good faith, should your government try to do something to try to help against a pandemic? Yes, in good faith. But once you get to the point where it's 15 months, and like, to me, the first end of the whole thing for me was Joe Biden during the political campaign with that blue mask that looked like Hannibal Lecter that went up to his ears. Do you remember this? He's standing on a podium by himself. There's no one within 6 feet of him. And he's doing a political commercial for the primary or for the general election with a mask on that was blue as shit. It was so blue to let everyone know that in order to support the Democrat Party, you need to wear this fucking mask. And I was like, do you understand how bad this is? Because it's people's purview to not support Joe Biden. And so in order for me to not support Joe Biden, guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to wear a mask. Now, in this case, I don't think masks at that point were necessary. But let's say they were. Let's say in another universe they were. Let's say we're talking about Ebola instead of talking about fucking coronavirus. At that point, now you've made something, this tool for health, you've made it political. That, to me, that was the end. I was like, I had no trust for them anymore at that point. That was the point for me. In the beginning, I was like, listen, they need to do something, because we had a precedence for this in 1919 with the Spanish flu. 60 million people died because of Spanish flu, which, by the way, wasn't Spanish flu, it was a Kansas flu. It actually originated in Topeka, Kansas. And the reason why we call it the Spanish flu is because during World War I, the only place that was still reporting normal news was Spain, because they were neutral in the war. So that's why we call it the Spanish flu. But we were wearing masks back then. And we also knew that there was a precedent for it in China, where they tried to stop pandemics by wearing masks there. The problem is, when things started to die down here, people were still having mask mandates. And to me, that was political. I think that was a little overboard. So we agree on that. I just not...
And stupid. You know, you have to wear your mask, but when you sit down and eat, you can take it off.
Yeah, of course.
Because Corona won't get you when you're sitting down.
Totally agree.
Like, just stupid shit. Like, dude, well, who's running shit? Like, dude, it's. Are you stupid? Like, you know, you got to come in with the mask. You can sit there and eat without a mask, but as soon as you get up, you got to put your mask on, because, you know, once you get to a certain level, like, come on.
Yeah.
I knew it was bullshit from the very beginning. Yeah. Now, the very beginning, I thought, dude, they're not shutting down all these places.
I thought the same
for
thing
shits
too.
and giggles. I said, dude, everybody better go home. You better fucking lock your doors, and you better pray. Why? Because I thought it was going to be way worse, and they did not want to panic anybody. And I was like getting kind of scared, like, holy shit, dude. They were taking the cash out of Las Vegas casinos. That's never happened.
Yeah.
They had armored trucks rolling down the city. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where, like, they're taking the cash out of why are they taking the cash out of these fucking casinos? Las Vegas was closed, dude.
I remember. Yeah, I remember the first, so March 17th was the first day of like a total closure. About a week after that, I went and ran up and down the strip, and there's police cars up there. And I remember it was kind of misty. I mean, you could see this like low cloud cover over there. I ran all the way down. I was just jogging by myself. There wasn't a single person out there. It was crazy. It was one of the weirdest. I still have videos of it, and it looks insane how dark everything was.
Okay, that's literally the government shutting down.
Agreed.
Not just this city. The whole world.
Agreed. I didn't have a problem in March and April. I had a problem once we got to June. I was like, this is we're done now. Let's open things back up. And then once we get to July, August, I'm like, okay, it's clear now. One of the reasons why I have respect for Mayor Goodman is because she went on the news and got called a lunatic because she said we need to get these casino workers back to work. And like looking back now, I totally agree with what she was saying.
Yeah, but who said we couldn't?
But the government did. Right. No, I totally agree with you.
The government, dude. It's always the government. And again, because you work for the Air Force, I think you identify with the government.
No, I don't identify with the government.
And that's another thing. Like, I used to tell people, listen, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. I said, listen, they're not going to do it with the United States military. Why? Well, because our brothers and sisters are in the United States military.
I identify with the military. I don't identify with the government.
But you see my point?
Yeah.
Our brothers and sisters are in the United States military. They're not going to come and fuck with us because Joe Biden tells them to.
Yeah.
Now, well, they got to do what they're told. I understand, and they probably will up to a point, but they're not going to go fuck with their own family for stupid rules. So I was never worried about all that shit. What I'm worried about is the United Nations. They've got soldiers that will do it. Why? Because they're not
usually their peacekeepers are hoarded out from other countries. The
they're
UN
not from here is my point. They're not our brothers and sisters.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So they would let the UN in here. I don't know if that's possible, but maybe.
Okay, well, when you start seeing it, go, wait a minute. Why is the whole?
Yeah, if I saw UN peacekeepers in Nevada, I'm going to re-enlist back in the U.S. Air Force at that point.
Dude, they found. Well, what are you talking about? We're the ones bringing them in.
But we didn't have UN peacekeepers running around in Nevada. What are you talking about specifically?
We don't have them yet, but I'm saying it's not going to be the United States military that is coming to our house and forcing us to take vaccinations and go to camps if we don't.
Right.
That's the UN police, basically. And that's who's going to come in and do it if it ever happens.
If it ever happens, yeah.
I don't think it'll happen. I think it would be chaotic if that happened.
I think it's politically untenable right now if we had another outbreak of coronavirus for people to try to shut things down like they did before. I think now we're talking levels of violence that I don't think any politician would want. I mean legitimate violence. I don't mean virtual violence. I don't think anybody would stand for that. I agree with you when it comes to that. My point is, it's one of these things where it's like the first couple months, I gave them a grace period. And I was like, okay, let's see what you guys can do to try to hold this thing off. Because I was researching the Spanish flu and other viral pandemics. I was like, this could be potentially really bad. I have older family members. And for me, specifically, you're asking, why did I get vaccinated? I got vaccinated for two reasons. Number one, I was going to Jamaica with 150 girls, and I wasn't going to get into Jamaica without the card. Number two,
the card and the vax is two different things.
Right, I understand. But that also, the first couple months, the whole buying a vax card was not a thing. That didn't happen until a few months later. The second part was my mother's 80. She's 80. I don't care what anyone says. My mother's 80 years old. My mother's had health problems before, and I was like, I'm never going to get to see her again. There's no way I'm going to expose myself to this and then go back and ever see my mother with any. I would rather talk to my mother on the phone for the rest of her life than be the reason she ends up dying. To me, that was enough of a reason to take the vaccine.
So you believed it?
Yeah. Well, I took the first two shots. I didn't take the third one.
Did you know that they didn't work?
They worked for me. I mean,
they didn't work.
There was
evidence is out.
60% advocacy.
The vaccines did not work.
No, they worked on. So here's the reason.
You know what worked better than a vaccine?
Natural immunity. Is that what you
Getting
can tell?
COVID.
Okay, listen.
They should have said, let everyone get it. Listen, if you're old and you're frail, stay out, stay home, do whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody else, get ready, lock down. It's going to be like a fucking flu because that's all it was.
Okay.
And everything's going to be just fine.
So the alpha variant and the gamma variant and the delta variant, the vaccine was effective against those, and it mutated to Omicron. And the reason why we know that is because later in 2021, 90% of the new cases were Omicron. Omicron was not as deadly as the previous variants. So the vaccine, did it eradicate COVID? No. Did it work? Yes, it did work on the alpha variant. It did work. Because if it didn't work on the alpha variant, we'd still be having alpha variants. That's the reason why it did work. It just didn't eradicate it.
I wish I had all the experts in the world in my phone book so I could call them right now.
I would love to
and debate you.
How about
because I'm not debating you. Why?
Let's set it up.
I don't even look past the surface.
Let's set it up.
I think it was a scam. I don't think the vaccines worked, and I don't care.
I think it was a scam. I just think it's a scam for a different reason than you do.
And I'm hoping. Yeah. And just because you're dating a young girl and your life's going good does not mean inside your body is not worsening.
Okay.
It just like, let's hope, because here's what I think. I think it affects other people other ways. Just
Definitely.
like, do you realize if you made everybody in the world eat a peanut,
it would affect some people one way, and
there would be millions of people that
would die. Yeah,
because of their allergy. So it doesn't mean peanuts are deadly to everybody. It means they're deadly. They are deadly. Mm-hmm. Peanuts are deadly.
Yes.
Vaccines are deadly. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it didn't work for this person and that person. Vaccines are deadly. And when they were forcing, and not forcing because they weren't actually forcing, But when they were convincing everybody to go get it, and they were saying, you get a French fries and Coke. Remember that fucking governor? I think he was of New York, and he was really saying, you know, I can't believe we get French fries if we get a vaccine. I'm thinking, oh my God, is this for real?
Right.
And then, you know, here, if you went to Hustlers and got a vaccine, you'll get lap dances. They're bribing you to get these vaccines.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that, no. And what actually turned my mind, because again, the very beginning, I thought, damn, this is going to be way worse. They're wanting us not to panic. I thought for sure there's going to be some death. So we went home, and for 30 days, dude, I didn't let anybody in the house.
Yeah.
We sprayed all the packages, just like everybody else. I kind of liked it, tell you the truth. I fucking liked it.
Those first couple months were fun, yeah.
I liked it. So
I played football every day. I went down to Sunset Park with my buddies, and we were chunking that football. I hadn't run routes in like 15, 20 years. I was playing flag football every day. It was great.
Yeah, so about 30 days into it, you know, I forget what I needed to do, but I was watching the news, and I saw that the hospitals are fucking overflowing. But there's a hospital down the road, and so I'm like, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I drove by the hospital. I didn't see it, so I thought, I want to go see it overflowing. So I didn't get out of my car. I just drove in. I'm watching. There ain't nobody in the emergency room. I just saw a video where it was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But I drove down there, and it's not overwhelmed. And I'm like, that's weird. Why are they saying it's overwhelmed? I drove to another hospital over on in Summerlin. It wasn't overwhelmed. There were no hospitals overwhelmed, but the media was saying all the hospitals are overwhelmed. Dude, I couldn't believe it.
I saw the same thing.
That's when I started going, wait a minute. Like, is this for real? What the fuck is going on? Like, this is flat out lies. And why? They want you to get a vaccine. And well, now it's starting to make sense. Who gets paid when we get a vaccine? Did you know that NIH has patents on the vaccine?
I did not.
And I know that you've heard of the old, I forget what they call it, you know, Event 301 or whatever.
Which one are you talking about?
Where they basically, in 2018 and 19, pretended that we got hit with a pandemic. And it was all the same shit that happened, for real.
Oh, you're talking about...
Event 301.
Oh, you're talking about with a joint exercise.
Bill Gates funded it. Everybody
did
everything. I mean, if you really start looking into, besides all this conspiracy shit, the shit that's like, it's now fact. Dude, it was a scam. It was pulled on the world. And that's what's crazy. It wasn't just the United States, dude. The whole world fell for it. Yeah. That tells you what? That there's powerful people above the governments. Because I don't think, like you said, not everyone's mean and sinister.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think they were just like, I don't think you're mean and sinister. But you might have believed it. Why? Well, because your captain told you. Or, you know, came from the government, God damn it, and I'm the government. You know,
I'm not the government.
You just believe whatever the fuck you've been told. And that, does that make you a criminal? No. And you say, hey, honey, go get. I know people that got their children vaccinated.
Right.
Well, they obviously are not trying to kill their children. They're not mean. They believed Fauci's dumbass. They believed all these people. I didn't believe them.
Yeah.
And I still don't. And I still don't believe that we landed on the fucking moon. I just don't believe it. But who cares? Honestly, if we did, cool.
Yeah.
If we didn't, who gives a fuck? But then that begs the question: why would they? What was really behind their lying to tell everyone we did? For, you know, patriotism and all this shit. Well, maybe, but again, like, that's just more of the same shit, and they've been doing it for years. The John F. Kennedy assassination.
Okay.
Files have been released.
Yeah.
We were involved. When I say we, the government was involved in the JFK assassination. There's proof of it. Do you know that?
I think there's evidence. I don't know that there's proof. But
What's
there is
the
evidence. Proof would be that there's an unassailable proof that Lee Harvey Oswald didn't shoot Kennedy.
Dude, they got a video of the driver turning around and shooting him in the face.
I don't think that's. I think what you're looking at is a deep fake. That's already been debunked. Yeah, that's not a real
when
video.
You say it's been debunked,
yeah,
it hasn't been debunked. Some people claim it's not real.
Yeah,
that's not debunking anything. Debunking. There's no way to debunk that.
The driver did not turn around and shoot Kennedy in the face. The reason why
I saw a video that he went like this.
Yeah, I saw
and you could barely see it. And by the way, it matches what Jackie did. If I'm sitting there like this and the driver shoots my husband in the face and his flap went back, if he was shot this way, his flap would not went back.
Yeah, he had a back brace on. That's the thing.
Okay,
like
but
he
again,
got hit.
I'm not an expert. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is when I saw that video, she jumps out of the car, which is what you would do if the driver shot your husband in the face. You would get the fuck out of the car. She jumped out of the car.
So my next question, the car's going 2 miles an hour. My next question is why
is she trying to jump out of a car?
He's going 2 miles an hour. He can get out. Someone just shot at her husband. She's trying to get out of there. There's a couple things. Number one,
scam. Folks.
She's reaching back and she's calling the Secret Service to come help her. First off, she didn't actually get out of the car. Number two,
why again? This is what they say.
Why didn't
bro?
I watched the video. Why didn't?
Hey, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Michael Sartain is they.
Why didn't Connolly then say, I saw the guy shoot him in the head? How come Governor Connolly didn't say anything?
Maybe Governor Connolly was threatened.
He was threatened. He got shot. took a round through the arm. So he's then threatened. He's not going to mention that in front of all these people. There were other points on the parade. My point is there are other points on the parade route where that guy could have shot him in the head and no one would have seen it. And why did they shoot?
How do you know
Houston Avenue? Huh?
How do you know nobody said anything?
Well,
were you there?
No, but Governor Connolly didn't say anything. And here's my next.
How do you know?
My next question
nobody said anything.
My next question
Michael,
is. My next question is the idea of somebody reaching back and shooting. Hold on. The problem. The other issue is the idea of the driver turning around and shooting someone in the head.
Did you also know that Lee Harvey Oswald or whoever it was, Hinckley Booth or whatever,
John Hinckley?
Yeah. Do you know that these guys denied their whole life that they did it? They never admitted it.
Okay, so
Lee Harvey Oswald said, I did not shoot that motherfucker.
Oswald died 48 hours later.
Coincidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he denied it.
Right. Jack Ruby also had terminal cancer when he shot him.
They denied it.
Well, Jack Ruby didn't
You
deny
don't
it.
see again, you're they. We've discovered.
Got it.
When people say, who are they? Who's they?
Yeah, so I'm
going to start saying Michael Sartain.
I'm from Dallas, so
he's in that group.
I used to drive down that route every day to work, and that's something.
The grassy knoll?
Yes, the grassy knoll is just in front of it to the right. That was it.
You did your research?
I will tell you that any Marine who couldn't have made that shot is not a Marine. That was a very easy shot at 75 feet, shooting at a target, going directly away from you at 75 feet with no obstruction from a 6th floor balcony, shooting down to the right with a left-handed shooter with a Carcano rifle. That is a very doable shot. He had 3 rounds. He got off 2. One of them hit him in the neck. That's why his head went back. He was wearing a back brace and he was addicted to opioids at that point. So I don't have a problem with any of that. Now, if you want to say additionally the CIA had something to do with it, I don't have a problem. I don't have any evidence to say that didn't happen. What I have a problem with is Oliver Stone saying things like, "There's no way Oswald could have made that shot." Yes, Oswald was a U.S. Marine. He could have made that shot. Don't have any problem with that. We also know that Oswald defected to Russia and came back. That's what I have. So whenever I see this other stuff where people say there's no way Oswald could have done it, that's fine. But I'm saying the truth is somewhere in the middle. The problem is the same thing with flat Earth. The only way you can believe in flat Earth is if you look at it in a vacuum. You don't look at any other ideas. And the same thing with the Kennedy assassination. It's fine to believe that other people may have had something to do with it. I don't have an issue with that. My problem is when you then start saying there's no way it could have happened the way they said it. I haven't seen evidence to show that. Were there people who didn't like Kennedy? For sure. The idea that LBJ secretly tried to have John F. Kennedy killed, that seems a little far-fetched to me. I don't know if I necessarily believe that. But the problem is when anything goes wrong and people don't like the outcome, what they do is there's this void that they want to blame, and the void is always a 3-letter, it's either the FBI or the CIA or the NSA sometimes. But it's like, there's secret agencies in our government that don't have a name and they aren't under the fucking CIA, but we just call everything the CIA.
Like the Men in Black.
Whatever. Exactly. That's
you believe in aliens, yes or no?
There are aliens, they're just not here.
But do you believe in aliens?
There are, for sure. There's definitely aliens in other planets, but they're not here.
Yeah, they've never been here.
They've never been here.
So
it's too far.
So these crashed alien spacecraft that the government is now admitting.
No, before I'm going to get you on this one.
What's
happening is
I need a goddamn computer so I can Google some shit.
You want to pull up whatever you want because I just did a podcast.
Dude, pull up. Does the government confirm of UFOs? Now again, let's talk about what UFO is. That's an unflying object.
Correct.
That doesn't mean it's an alien.
Correct.
No, you look and there is Air Force pilots saying.
No, Brad, you're talking about.
We know of nothing.
You're talking about a 2014 video by a Navy pilot
that moves this way.
Yeah, you're talking about a Navy pilot in 2014 who did that. I don't necessarily believe in what I saw in that video. And the thing is, it's really interesting to me how when U.S. military officers make claims, we don't believe them when we don't want to. But when the claim is that there's a Tic Tac that was floating and traveling 6 times the speed of sound, that all of a sudden we do believe him. No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Did he Google it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of shit here.
Does the United States confirm that there is alien, extraterrestrial spacecraft that we have never seen before?
They do not.
No.
Incorrect. Give me that fucking computer. I'll show it.
You can pull it on your phone.
Dude, it's sometimes I always wonder, like, to myself, like, you know how like algorithms, like they're showing me shit and they're showing you shit, and that's why you believe what you believe, and that's why I believe what I believe.
No, I look up.
Like,
I
do
look
you see
papers.
the same videos I do?
I don't. I look up. Well, I do, but I look up. Like whenever I see a video, like I've seen the same video where the guy turns around and shoots Kennedy. But like the problem is, I went and looked. I did some research, and it's not a real video.
Okay, Andrew Tate.
Uh-huh.
You think he's child, or do you think he's sex
I
trafficking?
don't because the evidence.
Okay, but yet the whole world is saying he did.
I think not the whole world. A lot of people are. I think people on the political aisle against him think they think
exactly,
that's,
dude. They're fucking setting the guy up.
Right.
They're setting him up. Why? Because he's empowering young men to be fucking better, to be winners. They don't want winners. They want everybody sick, fat, and fucking dumb.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
So they can sell us their pills and their medicines and their bullshit.
I think specifically in the Andrew Tate situation, I think that he did some things that were offensive to Romania specifically. Meaning,
Well,
like
he
was
switched
going
to Islam.
He was going to he was going to take his wealth away from Romania, and they found $384 million worth of crypto in the house. So that wealth, let's just say that's a tenth of the wealth he has. If he takes that wealth away, then that's a significant portion of wealth that could be taxed by a poor Eastern European state. Let's say, for instance,
I don't think Romania is behind it.
I think Romania. I mean, they had to prosecute him.
I think Romania is the instrument.
Okay,
being used.
Sure,
it's not Romania, dude. It's the global elite.
Okay,
people want him silenced.
I agree with that.
And by the way, I mean, I don't think to a point where, because like he said, the next step is to kill him.
Yeah.
Well, then why ain't he dead? And by the way, like when you fuck with billionaires, just billionaires, forget the global elite.
Yeah.
Just billionaires. You realize I'm not even a billionaire and I could literally have somebody killed.
For sure.
So if I really didn't like you so bad, why you think I wouldn't just kill you? Why am I going to try and put you in jail? Discredit you? Why? Why wouldn't I just fucking kill you?
I think martyrdom would be the first reason why you wouldn't want to just pay someone to kill Andrew Tate.
Dude, right now, if Andrew Tate got killed, even assassinated, within a week, no one gives a fuck anymore.
I don't know.
Everyone will be like, oh my God. And then a couple people will throw out a little spin, and then it'll die down.
I don't think it would die down for people like you and me.
It died down.
I mean, we still talk about it.
I know, but you go look at the government released files, declassified files.
Yeah.
You can go look at them now. And it proves that a lot of that conspiracy theory was true. Now, have I went and looked? No, that's why I don't argue with people. I'm not going to argue with you about the moon. Why? I don't fucking know. I'm one of those people that tell the truth. I don't fucking know. And if you told the truth, you don't know either.
Let's host a debate on Dropping Bombs. I'll be glad to do it. Bring as many guys as you want.
But you wouldn't know either. You don't know either. Like, is there a God? Well, yeah, I know there is. You don't know there is.
I believe there is a God through faith. I do not know that there is a God through evidence.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
And you don't know if we landed on the moon. You just believe that we did.
Right. I've seen, what I'm saying is the evidence that I'm supposed to have believed that shows me we didn't land on the moon, I don't consider that to be proof. That's what I believe. And I've seen enough evidence and understand enough about the laws of physics to believe that we could have gone to the moon and that there were 400,000 people involved in the Gemini and Apollo projects, one from every state, and all of them, a good number of them had to be in on it in order for us to fake the moon landings. It's a secret that would have been held by at least 15,000 people.
What are all your fans saying?
Oh, we're not live.
I know, but what do they say when this comes out? Are they saying, Michael, you're fucking retarded?
No. It depends on who. For my fans, no. My fans, I make them read 30 books.
But they believe what you believe.
No, a lot of them don't. But it's probably 15-20% don't believe it, and then the rest of them probably do, or most of them are apathetic towards it. But like my fans is like the main thing that my fans have in common is we read a lot, so it's usually more of a temperate, moderate belief in stuff. I just don't.
Have you read my book?
I haven't. I know you have a book. Is it on audio?
Not yet.
All right. Well, I need to get it. I'll do the audio if you want. You want me to? I'll read the audio for you.
That wouldn't be my book.
Okay, so you're gonna read the audio?
Of course.
Good. Okay. Bilzerian just came out with the audio over his book. He didn't read it. I was a little disappointed by that.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Dude, listen. If you got the audio, I'm buying it.
Okay, get the audio.
Okay, because he said he'd come on a podcast, but I had to read his book, and his book is a fucking Bible. It's huge.
Terrific book. 390.
Yeah, but it's huge. I'm not.
It's 390 pages.
I ain't reading that. I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
I ain't reading it. You like to read? When I read, I go to sleep.
I do like to read. Yeah.
When I read, like if I pick up that book within a couple of pages, I'm dozing off. If I'm listening to it, I listen to it for an hour and 10 hours.
Some audiobook readers are so good that I actually look for the books that they narrate. And it's George Guidall Everything he narrates, I'd go find. Even if I don't care about the book, he's such a good reader. Another guy named John Lee, fantastic narrators. If I wasn't doing this, that's what I'd love to do. I'd love to be a narrator for audiobooks. That's a really great gig.
You got the voice for it.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
So ask me questions that might cause a little controversy.
Oh, well, I mean, we just talked about the Andrew Tate situation. I think you and I are in agreement that the idea that he's making $20 million a month at his peak in August, and he reached out to you. He reached out to me. I think, how do he reach out to you, by the way?
Email.
He reached out to me on Instagram. One of his affiliates or one of his assistants reached out to me. He and I go back and forth. He said, I can't come to the States, but I'm going to have Justin Waller come. Justin comes. Justin Waller and I become really good friends afterwards.
Justin's cool.
He's awesome. Then I connect you with Justin. Justin connects me with Rollo, and now Rollo and I do a podcast together specifically because of the Andrew Tate thing.
What about Rollo? Like, I want to get him on my podcast.
Yeah, we already talked about that. We'll definitely have Rollo on. What do you think about
if
what he's saying?
If I pull him up, there's the history.
Damn. Okay.
But if you go back to the very beginning, what's that say?
Hey, Andrew, love the channel. Think I could break the internet. I'm stateside, Miami, first week of December. Yeah, that's when he started doing Fresh and Fit. Are you based anywhere near here? Yeah.
And I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, he and I just we're on. We text on.
Do you know?
WhatsApp.
Do you know his?
Sartain shooter. His Instagram? It's gone.
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, you mean the burner he uses?
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is.
I'll show it to you right now.
Okay. We can't say it on the air.
I wouldn't say it on the air.
Okay.
Because obviously he's just trying to keep it low.
Yeah, for sure.
Or they'll get rid of it right there.
Let me see. Nice.
I'm telling you, that's him. Why?
Oh, that's
And by the way-
a pretty fucking good reason.
And by the way, you go there, and you go here.
That makes sense to me. Okay.
That's
Got it.
him.
Got it. I believe you.
But dude, listen, when it comes to Tate, all I got to say is this. Anyone can hate all they want. The dude should be in fucking prison right now, but not for trafficking, for murder. The motherfucker murdered the algorithm. Dude, he murdered it.
Emory Andrew Tate. Here's a cheers to you, brother.
Cheers, dude.
You murdered the algorithm.
I DM'd him, if that's really him. I'm pretty sure it is. And I said, dude, you truly are the top G. Like, dude, he fucking murdered it. Nobody. He is the goat of goats when it comes to fucking social media because, dude, the guy murdered it.
I'll tell you what. I know this number's legit because he sent me, Justin, and he sent me voice memos. So we'll make a video. We'll send it to him. You tell him he murdered it. How about that?
Fuck yeah, he murdered it.
Let's do it. I love it.
He knows he murdered it.
So
That's what's funny about that dude. Like he's confident and ballsy, and people don't like that.
Yeah.
Because when sometimes, like, I don't think I'm as confident and ballsy as everyone thinks I am, But if somebody thinks you're confident and ballsy, dude, they just for some reason want to fucking see you fall. They want to see you.
That's true.
They do not want to see you that way. Like, that's what I don't understand about human beings. I want people to win. I'm happy Andrew Tate's fucking crushing life. I'm happy, the people in his real world are making money.
Yeah.
Like, dude, good for you. No, is everybody making money? No, I know people that said it's a scam. Well, guess what? Is it? No. They didn't do something. They scammed themselves. So to me, it's like, listen, guys, there are definite ways to win and succeed financially, spiritually, physically, the whole 9 yards. Here's the way to do it. I'm going to share it with your people. This is the way you get anything you want in life. You ready? Number one, you got to figure out what it is, which coincidentally is the hardest part, in my opinion. A lot of people will think that they know what they want, but they actually don't. Okay? It takes time. It takes energy. It takes brain power to literally figure out what do you actually want. If you ask somebody, tell me what you think success looks like, everyone just starts to think, it's, because they don't really focus or think about it.
Yeah.
So step one, figure out what you want. That's what I would tell everybody right now. Number two, figure out how to get it. Well, that's the easy part. Most people think that's the hard part. No, how to get it's the easy part. How? Find someone who's already got it.
Yeah.
Find someone who's already done it.
I talk frequently, you, Ryan Stewman, Wes Watson, Dan Fleischman, Ty Lopez. Like, you guys, I whenever we have meetings and they're like, what should we do here? And I bring the five of you up and I'm like, what did they do here?
There you go.
That's exactly how I do it.
And again, based on what you're trying to do. If someone's saying, hey, I want to build a social media profile, well, using me as an example would be good.
Yeah.
But using Andrew would be better.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because look what the fuck he did, dude. And by the way, I'm about to try and pull the same stunt.
So we're on our way now. We started an affiliate program. And so
how does it work?
So affiliate code, you would go to moamentoring.com/affiliate. And in there you fill out first name, last name, email, and then PayPal link. And then you get paid 10% of every sale that you do of my program. Problem is I don't have a low ticket offer. So the next goal for me would be a low ticket offer, $50 a month, which is what HU was. For we'd give 100% of the first month out, and then they create additional channels.
How's it working? How's it working?
Terrific. I got 39 million views on TikTok last month. It's pretty amazing.
How's it working though?
What do you mean?
Is it working?
Yeah, I went from probably I was doing. I did
are you
two.
the most Googled man on the planet?
No, I did 210 last time you were on here. We're doing 600K a month now since we started doing this. We almost tripled the business. So yeah, it's working pretty well. I mean, is it going to work as well as Andrew? No, I'm not saying the shit Andrew's saying.
Well, there's another because again, Andrew did it. I think that's. But you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're emulating kind of what he did.
Yeah. I need a low ticket offer though. That's the key.
But here's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind sharing it and someone else doing it and winning because, again, I don't care. I'm not a limited, scarce guy. I think good for you. Take it and run. But what I would do is I'm going to probably say I will pay anybody who goes into my drive and edits a video or takes a video that exists in there and posts it from their own social media. Whoever makes the best one, I'll give $50,000.
Okay, so like almost like a giveaway.
Like a lottery.
Yeah,
so now 2,000 editors or people in the world go in to my drive, grab some footage. They all make their own version of what they think is cool and whatnot. They know I'm the one picking, so they're not going to make it bad, I hope. And I'm going to have, for example, 2,000 people post a video of me on their account, tag me so I can see it and be aware of it. And I'm going to pick the one that's the best, and I'm going to give them 10 G's, 50 G's, 100 G's.
I love it.
And now, because, dude, I'm thinking if I'm an editor, I'm not going to do that with yours because now I got to sell it. I got to hope someone buys it. I'm going to go do all this work hoping somebody buys your fucking program. Yeah. Otherwise, I posted 1 million times, no one buys your program. What did I get?
So there's another thing you get, and that is when it's hard to grow initially, but if you use my content on TikTok and I'm already getting searched 39 million times, you can grow an account quickly and then transfer it over and sell it to someone else. That's what people were doing with Andrew Tate. So they would start off, they would post his content on Instagram, they would post his content on Twitter, they would post his content on YouTube, and post his content on, what I can't remember what I was thinking about. Whatever other platform, TikTok. And when they would do it, they could grow to 50K, 100K quickly, and then that's something that they can sell. If you live in Nicaragua, or if you live in Sudan, or if you live in fucking Nigeria, that's a lot of money. And so that was a thing they were doing. So they were getting paid off the affiliate links, and then they were getting paid to then sell the accounts to someone else. That's how that platform worked.
How did it start, though?
It started because, from my understanding, there was some people in the original form of, I can't remember, it was Hustle University or War Room, one of the two. There were some really nerdy kids who came up with this idea to crack the algorithm, and Andrew let them do it. And it took over. I literally talked to an executive at Instagram, and he told me point blank, he said,
when I interview Andrew Tate, who is one of the questions I'm going to ask, because he'll give you the real answer. From what I heard from someone that's real close to him, he had, let's say, a couple thousand people that were fans. Yeah. You know, and he said, go post these from your account and we will unlock additional levels inside the
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Hustle University. So people wanted to get his course on such and such or unlock some level. So they'd go in and post just because that's how they unlock the level.
So I'm not in HU, but what from my understanding is I think what you're talking about is they did that and they got additional affiliate things that they were capable of doing at that point. Like possibly even, this is something we did. When you join our affiliate thing, you get access to a drive, which is the raw data of every one of my episodes and raw footage from previous calls. And guys are pulling out calls from 7 years ago. And I'm like, dude, I forgot that I even did this. And they're starting accounts. A few of them are really well. MOA.podcast is doing fantastic. There's a few of them. Perspicacity Now is doing really well. There's a couple of my affiliates that are doing really well.
But see what's happening? You're emulating.
Of course.
So this
I'm the first guy to admit that.
But this formula works. So I'm just sharing with your people. Number one, figure out what you want because you got to figure out that first.
Yeah.
Then figure out who's already done it, who's already got it, who's already been there, who's already went. Then do the work
Yeah.
Right? Now people are like, well, no shit, Brad. Well, then if it's such easy shit and it's no shit, why aren't you doing it? Why don't people have what they want in life? It's so easy to get. You figure out what it is, you figure out who's already been there, and then you go do what they did. I'll tell you why. Because at some point you start to question and rationalize. You negotiate yourself.
Yes.
Out of everything you
do
want.
it when you hire people. You do it when you go to the gym. You do it exactly. You do it with your diet. You do it exactly. I totally agree with you. Yes,
Yeah, you're
100%.
negotiating yourself out of a deal. And people are like, I hate sales. I'm not a very good negotiator. No, dude, you negotiate your ass out of everything.
Yeah, no, agreed. We're to the point where this is never going to happen. But my two partners, we have to agree whenever we come to when we're releasing a product, because one guy does the financing for it, another guy does the back end, and then I do the content. If we got to the point where we hadn't started it, I would just start recording the low ticket offer before, and I'd have it done before I even presented it to them. That's something I would do, because I'm not afraid to fucking work. I want to work. And the thing is, like what you said before, is when I started like really paying it, Fleischman's honestly the guy who opened the whole door for me, because he's the one who introduced me to the rest of you guys. When I start seeing what's possible, again, if you are not motivated by the fact, you should not be intimidated by this. You should be motivated by the fact that Wes Watson did 2.6 million last year with 90% profit. And I've seen his
per month.
2.6 million a month he did, 90% profit. And for those of you who are wondering, I have seen with my own hands his fucking Stripe account when I was at Dan Fleischman's birthday party. He is not lying about these numbers. Okay? He's projected.
And I processed some of his merchant accounts. So
yeah.
I can tell you that's not bullshit.
Yes. He said he's gonna do 3.5 million this month from changes he's doing. I had Mike Rashid in here a couple days ago. He's doing an event with Wes. So the thing you need to ask yourself is, instead of making excuses saying, well, I don't like Wes because of his tattoos, or he's not like me and he uses too much profanity, which I've heard guys say that before. Instead say, what the fuck is he doing that I'm not doing? What is he doing that I'm not doing? And I consider Wes.
Adam, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I consider Wes a friend, and I love Wes. And I there's two things here. Number one, I want to figure out what he's doing. And number two, I want him to do even better and open up more doors for me so that I can understand new things to do. Stuman, I want you guys to open even more doors for me, and I can do what you do, like try to do what you do. Cole Gordon is another guy.
Yeah, but I don't really do it.
You do, but you empower other people to do it. You have a social media
businesses.
You said you spend $40K a month on social media stuff. Is that right?
About, yeah.
Yeah. So you empower other people to do it, and it wouldn't get improved if you didn't approve it, right? You told me this before. You don't. So I still approve every single one of my clips. I'm still at that point. You said before you don't. You've seen stuff before where you're like, oh, I probably would have been a better clip if I had picked it. But you have other things that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would have had a camera guy here, but he was working a lot, and I said, I'll get the footage from them if I need it. But at the end of the day, you film yourself all damn day long. Somebody goes through and finds out the good parts. I don't remember the good parts. There may not be any good parts. There may be a day goes by, there's nothing good. I didn't say anything. But the next day I think to myself, well, what can I do then? So, hey, let me go to Sartain's podcast. That's some good shit. I bet you we say some shit there.
We did.
I'll call my wife. I'll call an ex-girlfriend. I'll get in an argument. I'll call an employee. I'll call a hot customer. Hot meaning mad. I'll do stuff intentionally. That's why I call it intentionals. I'll do stuff intentionally to get me talking and more like ranting. And then that's what you see on social media. And I see it just same as everybody else. I do not approve it. I have deleted it.
Yes,
my wife has deleted a few. My wife has passwords to my shit, by the way. So like people are like, you let her in your DMs? Well, again, why wouldn't I not?
Agreed. I let my girlfriend in my DMs also.
If you don't, you're hiding something.
If she asks me, I give her my phone. What I don't like is for her like looking over my shoulder, but I give her whatever she wants because I've told you this before. I'm in a polygynous relationship. We see other women together. So
you're lucky.
Yes.
That's what that is.
But there's no reason, but we talk about this, there's no reason for even me to hide anything because the truth is better than a lie.
Doesn't it feel better?
It does feel better. I was never lying before. The problem.
But what if you got into her DMs and you realize she's getting railed?
I'd be upset. But I'd be in fucking Mykonos the next weekend. I think I'd be all right.
Yeah, you just move on to another one.
Yes.
Why? Well, because you got all butthurt that someone was railing her a little bit better than you rail her.
Well, I mean, it's also a function of trust, right? We just talked about the trust.
Did she say she wouldn't rail anybody?
Correct. No, it's polygynous, not polyamorous.
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry, my bad. I'm sorry. Let's start over here. Polygyny means multiple women, one man.
Oh,
Polyamorous means multiple men, multiple women.
yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time or different?
Usually, no, it's always at the same time. I don't see women without her. In fact, we've had a situation before.
So that's your main girl.
Yeah, Kylie is the only girl. Everyone else is just a visitor.
Now, what does she look like? Because I don't know. You're always with girls. I don't know which one it is.
Give me a second.
Here's another question that I have. When you break up with someone and you're friends with people, is it possible for you to remain friends with both parties?
Yes.
Real friends.
It's hard, but it's not impossible.
Real friends. Okay, so now I know which one's the one.
Yeah.
That's the main one.
Yeah. There's no second place. She's the only one. We have visitors, but she's it.
Sure. That's a good one.
She's from Arkansas. You love her.
So the question is can you remain real friends with both of them?
You're talking about with my ex?
No, if someone breaks up, like let's say you are friends with me and my wife, and then me and her break up.
Oh.
Can you remain friends with both of us, real friends?
This is a great point. So I've had this issue happen before where the breakup happens, and generally it's the person I started off with. So I'll give you an example. I introduced CJ Sparks to one of her boyfriends, and they split up, but he was lying to her the whole time and kind of blamed me for the breakup. So in the divorce, I picked her, if that makes any sense.
But were you capable of being real friends?
I could have been friends with both of them, but I had to keep them separated.
See, but I disagree.
You don't think I can?
I don't think someone can be a real friend to somebody when they're also friends with their enemy.
What if your ex isn't your enemy, though? What if your ex is just your ex?
If your ex is just your ex, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Just like you're not cheating if it's okay.
Yeah.
So, if there is no thing, then again, they're not your enemy.
Yeah.
But my point is if me and my wife broke up, I don't care who you pick, you gotta pick somebody. And it doesn't have to be who you came with. Oh, I knew him first. It doesn't matter. Who do you like most?
Yeah.
Who benefits you the most? Stick with that person. But you cannot be friends with both of them when they are at odds.
At odds, yeah, okay.
You can't do it. You have to pick one. So when you break up with a girl, your friends kind of break up too.
So this has happened in a couple of occasions, and we broke up, and most of their friend group came through me, and then they said that when they go off, because some of my friends are females, they would go off with my female friends, and they thought that they were just going to be BFFs, and then the girls were just going to not be my friend anymore because they have this female to female connection, and it never works out. The girls are always still my friends. That's always the way. It's very disappointing for some of my exes because they think they're going to pull my friend group away, and it tends to not work out that way.
Do you believe that if somebody, male or female, refuses to let you into their phone, they're hiding something?
No, not necessarily. Because I'll tell you why, Brad.
Same guy that got vaccinated too.
I'll tell you why, Brad. No, I would let her in my phone. The reason why. So here's
they don't let you, Michael, if they don't let you into their phone, they are hiding something.
Got it. Okay, listen. There's a book up there called Blink. Let me have this caveat. When I've had situations where I'm texting in the morning and she reads something wrong. She's like, "What did you say about your girlfriend?" And then I'm sitting there. She goes back and reads it, and he's like, "Oh, he was talking about his girlfriend." When she glances at it, that's what that book Blink is about by Malcolm Gladwell. When she glances at it, she takes it out of context. So what I would do is give her my phone so that she could see everything in context. But we have to go together because if she takes one part out of context where I'm joking about something, and then I can scroll back and be like, "Do you see this is a callback to this joke?" Unless I can do that, then if she takes it out of context, then it's not going to work. Does that make sense? Information is fine, but information must be included with context. That's the only caveat I would give for that.
Well, again, that wasn't even the question. The question was, if someone doesn't give you their phone.
If they don't want to give you their phone because things might be taken out of context, then I can understand.
They don't give you their phone. I don't want you in my phone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be in my phone.
Yeah.
I'm hiding something.
Okay, maybe.
And I'll bet you anything that for the most part that's true. In other words, because you always find the fucking fraction of an example.
I think I'm in the middle of the deviation. I think you're the fraction of the example.
Ladies, men, gentlemen, if your spouse, girlfriend, or boyfriend doesn't let you in their phone, they're fucking hiding something. Period.
Okay.
And by the way, could I be wrong? Well, absolutely. There's always an exception.
Yeah.
But in reality, if you're sitting there listening to this and you think my husband won't let me in his phone or my girlfriend won't let me in her phone, they claim they don't like it. It's just their personal space. They want privacy, all this bullshit. If you're together,
Okay.
100% real, committed, and together.
So that's a caveat. Some people, boyfriend, girlfriend, are not 100%.
Well, then that doesn't count.
Okay.
I'm saying, like, listen, me and my wife have agreed.
You and your wife, of course.
Yeah, but me and my wife agreed she's not going to be fucking sucking the neighbor's dick.
Yes.
And I'm not going to be fucking the neighbor's wife. Okay? She has my phone. She has my passwords. If you DM me something sexy, she will see it. She might see it. She don't always see it. Sometimes I'll see something and I'll delete it. Why? Because I know that. No, it's because I know that she. Listen, I know that she won't like it.
I'll delete it because I know she'll like it.
I'm doing her a
that's
favor.
Exactly my point.
Yeah, but I'm doing her a favor. She don't want to see it.
Brad,
She's told me. But people have asked, Brad, you must get a lot of, DMs. And I'm like, not really. And she was sitting there and she said, yes, you do. And I said, no, I don't really get that many. She goes, you just don't see them.
Because in the request folder.
No, because she will go in and delete shit.
Wow. Okay.
So I get all kinds of messages from what she says. I just never see them. Why? Because she'll go in and delete them. And I'm not mad at her. I do say, I wish you'd let me at least see them.
Yeah.
Like, there's no harm in looking, is there? Like nowadays, by the way, you see Instagram where the girls are shining light behind their sheer dress to see the outline of their female parts.
Yeah, and as long as they're wearing mesh, then they're not violating terms of service. But if they touch their boobs, then they're violating terms of service.
Yeah, but dude, like you can see.
Yeah, of course.
And dude, I guarantee that's like almost a soft porn site.
Yeah.
And they're worried about me saying ass. I can see lips.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or the outline of them. And by the way, some of you shouldn't be doing that. Okay, some of you look like you got freaking, a firecracker went off in that bitch.
Roast beef.
Yeah. Like, dude, come on. And by the way, rhinoplasty, or not rhinoplasty. It's called labiaplasty. Labiaplasty, ladies.
Yeah, it works pretty well. I've seen one. That's pretty
And not
impressive.
only that, it's very profitable for a plastic surgeon.
It is, yeah.
Because all they're doing is going.
Yeah.
They're just cutting off the excess.
Yeah.
Adding a little sprinkle to it so it.
Brad, can you see how somebody might be in a committed relationship and might like? So it was a funny joke between my girlfriend and I because she's so much younger than me. I'll joke about a girl I was dating in college. So let's say 1998. Okay. Well, she wasn't born in 1998. And she's like, I can't believe you're talking about that bitch. And I'm like, babe, you weren't even born. Like I wasn't cheating on you. You weren't born yet.
Yeah.
But right, if she took some of the conversations I had with other women out of context and saw them, it would make her mad, even though I didn't do anything wrong.
That's not the question.
But I'm not. But when you say not hiding them from someone,
if you don't let her into your phone, you're hiding something.
Okay, but could there be a good reason to hide it? Maybe that should be a different question. Because there's a lot of guys who are listening to this right now. It's like they're not going to let the girls into their phone.
Well, you know why?
Yeah,
because they're fucking hiding.
Because they're fucking hiding something. Got it. I don't disagree. Okay, I don't disagree.
Dude,
with
I
you.
used to hide my phone. Okay, I used to say, "What do you need my phone for?" Can I use your phone for a minute? What do you need my phone for? Well, mine's dead. Like, I don't like it. Why? Because she might see something. Because someone might text me when it's in her hand. Because I might get a fucking DM right in the middle of it. Like, no, you can't use my phone. That's why they don't want you in your phone. They don't want you in the phone because they're hiding something. Now, in your example, you're still hiding something.
Yes.
You're just hiding something innocent. Because people, well, what if it's a birthday present and I don't want her to see it? We're not talking about fucking once a year you don't let her in your phone. We're talking about you don't let her in your phone. Girls, he don't let you in his phone on a regular basis. Just take it for what it is. He's hiding something, period. Doesn't have to be nefarious. Doesn't have to be cheating. But I guarantee you he's hiding something. Could be your birthday present. Yeah, okay. Shut up. Dude, listen, I tell the truth, and that's why I think I get a lot of followers. Why? Because, dude, people are hungry for the fucking truth. They are so tired of listening to this bullshit.
Yeah.
The truth is, a lot of people aren't going to succeed.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because they'll choose not to. Well, what does that mean? Dude, if you don't succeed, you're choosing not to. Oh, bullshit, Brad. It ain't bullshit. That's the truth.
That is the truth.
It's the fucking truth. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is, your girl hides her phone from you, sir, just assume she's sucking someone's ding.
Really? You think you should take it that far?
100%.
Huh, okay.
Why is she hiding her phone from you?
Right.
Now, she might not have started to suck the dick, but she's thinking about sucking dick. She's doing something. When I say sucking dick, that's symbolic for, cheating. Symbolic for falling in love with someone else. Doesn't have to be sexual.
What if she's complaining to her friend about you? Is that as bad?
Again, does she complain nonstop about you?
No, but like.
Then why would she hide it forever?
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying there's varying degrees. I
know, but there's girls that are like, I just don't like guys in my phone.
Brad, here's the reason why I'm bringing this up. The majority of people who are watching this right now don't let their partner in their phone.
Well, then, folks, you're being cheated on.
Oh my God, man! Oh, this is so great. I thought
it's the truth.
I was worried we were going to get like 5 out of 10, Bradley. We're getting 10 out of 10, Bradley, today, man.
Hey,
we're going
the truth.
There's 6 viral clips in this already. But like last time he goes, I wouldn't do an orgy. You remember that one you did? He goes, if I was a hot girl, I would probably be a prostitute. Those are so good. I want to talk about something. First off, if your wife is watching this, I'd like to apologize. Apparently, your social media team took a few things that I said out of context. You hit me up and said my wife was upset because of some of the things that I posted in there. I just want to say,
what were they?
Okay, so what happened was, at the end of our interview, last time we did it, was expressing that there were some people out there that were making money on OnlyFans, and they were making a lot of money, and that the rest of us should just get used to it. But I wasn't recommending people get on OnlyFans. I spent the last year actually going on here over and over again, expressing to women that when you go and do guy-girl porn on OnlyFans, you're going to have a very hard time finding a husband. There are hundreds of clips of me saying this. Your wife heard one clip where I was expressing that Tucci Cash was making $300,000 a month and had 7 houses, and she, from that standpoint, sent you a text message, something to the effect of like, oh, I don't want my daughters doing this. I don't want your daughters doing this either. Don't want my daughters doing this.
Which is funny because my wife very rarely comments.
Yes.
And I think she commented to you.
Yes. She didn't comment to me. She commented to you, and you told me what she said. I think you read it to me.
Yeah, but again, like, dude, I agree with you. Like, in other words, like, dude, if I'm a girl and I can make $1 billion on OnlyFans, I don't give a rat's fuck if you think I'm a slut or what you think.
Yes.
I'm going to get paid. Why? Because I'm going to do it anyway.
Yes.
Why not get paid for it? Well, that makes you a whore. Okay. I'm a rich fucking whore then.
Yeah.
Like, why is it bad? Well, you want your daughters doing it? Folks, if I found out my daughters have an OnlyFans page and they were making millions of dollars, I would not be mad at them. I would not love them any less. I would I don't know if I'd be happy because I'd prefer they weren't,
of course,
on OnlyFans, but I'd be questioning the motherfuckers subscribing.
Yes.
Not the ones doing it. Like, dude, if you subscribe to a freaking male porn site where, you're watching male porn, is it the male porn guy's problem or who subscribed to it?
Right, exactly.
So again, like I would still love.
I'm
my
not,
daughter.
by the way. I'm not.
I would still love my daughter if she had an OnlyFans. But will you want her to? No, I don't want her to.
So
why wouldn't you want her to, Brad? Well, because again, it's your little baby girl. You don't want that. But guess what? If she did it, hey, I'm not going to love her any less.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. My wife can get mad all she wants, but at the end of the day, all you were saying was, if they're going to go out and do it, what's the problem?
It was a lack of nuance in a 60-second clip, which I think was part of the issue. One of the things is I had Carlotta Champagne come on here, and she's in the probably 100K a month club. She does no guy-girl stuff. She does show nudity. She's a former Playboy model.
Is all OnlyFans porn?
No. So this is why I want to talk about the nuance. So
can you believe for a moment that I've never been on OnlyFans?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't see why you would.
Because I thought you could do anything. Like I could start an OnlyFans page where I just show my butt cheek, and if there's butt cheek fanatics, I'll.
Yeah, the feet one are doing pretty good. I've had several girls on here talk about what they do on OF.
Are there any men feet one?
Men feet. I don't know. I bet you could look it up.
If you could make $1 million a month,
of course,
taking pictures of your feet on OnlyFans, would you do it?
Of course.
So
I'll say it right now. Of course, I would.
What's the difference?
There's no. So here's the issue. The issue was your wife was discussing, and what we were discussing was a question of morality, and I was discussing a question of socioeconomics. These are two different things. My whole point was there's different parts of OnlyFans. So I've said this before. Caitlin Runk and Kindly Myers, two close friends of mine. Caitlin and I used to see each other. They do non-nude. They just take photos that they don't post on Instagram. They post it on their OnlyFans, and they make like upwards of 100,000 a month. Okay,
good for them.
There's no dildos, girl. There's no guy-girl sex. There's no nipple, butthole, vagina. None of that.
I'm just definitely not interested
But there you go. But you understand that's also an OnlyFans. So we'll call that level 1. And then level 10 is like transsexual, multiple orgy, every video is like this, different partner every video. That's a 10. And so there's
How much is that one?
It depends on how big the.
How does he know all this shit?
The Bella Thorne. The great example. The Bella Thorne thing. Bella Thorne was charging. What was it? Do you remember this, George? It was like $250 a photo or some shit like that.
I just know how much she made at the end.
Yeah,
I gotta look it up.
And she didn't. She promised that it was a nude photo, and it wasn't nude. And OnlyFans had to refund several $1 million. And so they limited. So the most you can pay for anything, I think, is $50. I think for a single photo, I think that was it. I don't know how it works, but the point I was trying to make is there's different levels. So the idea that a girl who does bikini photographs on OnlyFans and makes a lot of money could still then find a husband afterwards, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that.
Of course they could.
Of course. The girl who then does guy-girl porn with her husband, should she be able to have a husband and still be able to like function in a normal, happy relationship, just making money, having sex with her husband on OnlyFans? Agree. I still think that should happen. However, I know one woman, she does this and she was hurt. The private school she went to kicked her out. They found out that she was doing OnlyFans and they literally told her that her child can go there, but she is not allowed to step on the premises. I've seen that happen too. But the main thing is multiple partners, different people. Is that going to make it harder for you to find a husband or a high status man to marry? And the answer is yes. Unequivocally, the answer is yes. That is not a moral judgment. That is a socioeconomic judgment. Morally, my whole thing is as long as you're not lying or trying to hurt somebody, that's fine. From a macroeconomic standpoint, does it hurt everything? I think it does. I think it cheapens sex to some extent. I think it makes it harder for people to find a wife, to have a family. I think pornography in general has massive deleterious effects on men.
Deleterious?
Negative effects.
I got to start fucking Googling shit.
Perspicacity, deleterious, bifurcation. Yes. I think it has I think it has negative effects on men in general. If you listen to Edwin Huberman, he talks about dopamine resets, where like you watch porn and your dopamine levels are at 10 out of 10. And so everything else sort of pales in comparison to the porn. And so you're having sex with your girlfriend and it's like not as good as the porn. And so that's why pornography can be so detrimental.
Well, have you ever seen the infrared cameras where if you do this, this phone's taking a picture every 5 seconds of your face?
I haven't seen that.
You haven't? Again, Google it. Put Google.
You're saying that the iPhone is doing it now.
There is an infrared picture every 5 seconds taking a photo of that in your face. So it's seeing everything you're doing. So if you're sitting there on a porn site whacking off, it's sitting there fucking.
Have you ever seen that?
There's pictures of you whacking off.
I think there's a picture of Zuckerberg and he's on his laptop and you can see a piece of tape over his laptop, over the camera on his tab. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Like he's even to the point where he doesn't trust himself. Yeah, I've definitely got to the point where I had a conversation with someone about a certain person. I've definitely had conversations about you to people, and your stuff starts popping up on my.
And I've said stuff, and it sure enough started showing. Like I forget one time it was like snowboards. I don't snowboard, but we were talking as if I was a snowboarder, and I wanted to badass this and that. And I'm telling you, next thing you know, there's snowboards being advertised to me. So they're listening.
Agreed.
They know that we're together right now. They're taking a picture every 5 seconds. I'm telling you right now, dude, we are in a worse world than people believe.
I think we're in still a pretty good world. I'm in a world where I'm free and I can fucking make a lot of money. I'm pretty happy with this world.
Again, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Now, if Andrew Tate said, "Come to Romania, I'll let you interview me," would you go?
I would now, yeah.
What if he says, "I want $50,000 in a box of chocolates"?
Then I would think if that happened, that Andrew, who I had been in communication with over the last 18 months, doesn't really want me to come interview him. Because when he said that, he said for traditional, what he said was, not traditional, what's the word I'm looking for? Legacy media. I'm not legacy media, and I've been nothing but fair to him, and I've done more than my share of like trying to do research for him and supported him. Not specifically him, but like a lot of his friends. So if he was like, "Hey, Michael, I want $50,000. In my mind, it's like, I'm going into an acrimonious situation and I don't want to.
What if you knew you interview them and use the content on any of your social network, they will literally cancel your account forever? Would you do it?
I would do it and then put it on Rumble and put it on Twitter. I would not put it on Instagram. I have to be strategic. I'm not. You have people
So you
working
wouldn't
for you.
do it.
I have people working for me. You have people. PBD, where I got the PBD.
Dude,
said,
it's okay to say, fuck no, I'm not going to give up my livelihood just to fucking do an interview.
Yeah, so PBD had a really great statement about this. So when Sneeko got canceled, Patrick Bet-David said, there's things that I want to say on this platform that I can't say because if I do, then I'm going to lose my platform. And I'll be honest with you, Brad, I've done this before, and you actually might be doing this right now, and I don't blame you if you are. I go into other people's, people interview me on their channel, and I will say outrageous shit because then I can go back and clip it, and it's fine, and I'm not going to lose my channel. I've definitely done that before.
Well, that's not what I'm doing.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I haven't said anything outrageous.
No, you haven't.
What if I hit rewind and somebody tell me anything I've said outrageous?
It's not outrageous. You're right. It's not outrageous. But
It's the truth.
it is. But it may be cancelable. Would you say that?
What? What? Name something.
I think us talking about pro or anti-vaccine, YouTube flags.
The
these-
whole cancel is over now.
Oh, I agree with you. But I think there was a point where it was an issue.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was an issue for sure.
Absolutely, but that's not why I'm doing it. So you'll get canceled.
I don't think you're doing it 'cause
and
I'll
I'll
be
and
canceled.
I'll have the best show in the world.
That's what I'm. You already have the best show in the world, dude.
All I'm saying is, if
I'm saying I've gone on other people's shows and like completely let loose in a way that I won't do on my show. I've definitely done that before.
see, well, then I would recommend that you let loose on your show, and it'll get more popular.
Okay, I'll do that. I've let it loose pretty hard.
Well, again, if you haven't let loose on your own show, I would suggest that you do, because you know what you're doing? You're missing certain audience by reserving the truth.
Yeah.
Now, you might also be preserving some of the audience by doing that, but guess what? I would say you're going to be happier and you're going to be more popular if you are 100% yourself.
So I think, let me express it a different way. I'm expressing the same points that I'm expressing previously. The thing is, when I'm doing a closed call with my clients, there's words I won't use. There's like a certain level of profanity that I don't use on this podcast that I use when it's just me and the clients. That's what I mean to say.
That's just intelligent.
Yeah, that's what I mean to say. It's not like I still have the same views on like.
I'm about to start doing the same thing, by the way.
Yeah, I have the same.
I keep being asked, why do you do that? I'm like, well, I was raised poorly. I make jokes, but in reality, I don't believe if I didn't use profanity that people would unsubscribe, but they may if I do. So it's just smarter not to.
Just when I see these other podcasts that have like massive followings, one of the things they do is they bleep out the profanity, and I was like, man, do I have to do this?
Go look at freaking Joe Rogan.
No,
they don't bleep out.
But Joe
shit.
Rogan's not on YouTube anymore. What I mean by that is like if you go look at like some of the
Dude, Gary V's regular channel, millions of viewers.
Correct.
His clean channel, 13,000.
he has a clean channel. I didn't know he
yeah.
had that. Okay.
Clean Gary V.
So what they do is in the first 30 seconds, sometimes they'll mute it. But I've seen people when they don't have to put the explicit thing on there, like Mr. Beast, they grow incredibly fast.
Well, again, I mean, like I had Rashid Buttar, and by the way, remember Rashid Buttar?
I don't know, maybe.
And then he's died. He's the doctor that was saying COVID's bullshit and they're out to get you.
Okay.
Well, I had him on my podcast just because, and they deleted it off YouTube. This was back.
Did they?
Oh, yeah. Instantly, within 2 days. But it already had 1.7 million views
Wow.
in 2 days. Boom. Biggest, fastest, most viral video I've ever had. Boom. Now, they deleted it. I think it hurt my channel because I can't seem to get more than a couple 100,000 subscribers on there. And it's like, makes no sense. All the experts are saying, well, because of that video, you are now shadow
Interesting.
banned. So I'm like, well, I still get views. They're like, yeah, but you should be getting hundreds of thousands of views, and you're only getting thousands of views. And I'm like, I don't get it.
The term is ratioed. I think a more accurate thing is you were ratioed. I had the similar thing happen. I made a video or someone else, one of my affiliates made a video about me, and it was me saying when I had Rolo on it was right after Andrew got arrested back in December. Just January, we did this video. And it was me saying, I'm going to wait to see what the evidence says, but right now I'm having a hard time understanding why a guy who's making $20 million a month, selling his products is now like forcing women to film on TikTok and OnlyFans for a couple $100. Like somebody build that bridge for me because I can't make that connection. I posted that. That thing went more viral for me, not super viral, but viral for me.
No, but it could be totally true.
Yeah, I went more viral than anything I posted, and everything from that point forward got 100 likes. It was just killed my channel.
That's probably what happened.
So I got ratioed. That's what the term for that is, being ratioed.
And I heard Sosnick, which I went to his page, and it was a lie, but I heard Sosnick lost his account because he posted shit from Andrew.
And he got it back. So what happened was he did lose his account, and he had he got a message from Instagram that stated that your account has been deleted and we've reviewed it and it's going to say permanently deleted. PBD, worked his magic. And, part owner of the Yankees now. He's probably got a connected Instagram.
He's cool.
He's awesome. We can talk about PBD here in a second.
PBD's real cool because when I found out he was over there in Romania, I texted him and I said, "Tell the top G, the top B wants him next."
Yeah.
And he said, he started laughing and then he texted back and he said, Tristan said call anytime. Gave me his number.
Yeah.
So I've been chit chatting with Tristan.
Tristan's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're still under house arrest. They're still going through a bunch of shit, man. So I don't want to fuck with them. And I don't want them to think, well, I want you on my show so to benefit me. I want to help them first, and then hopefully they can be on my show because I want to get an interview between me and, quite frankly, both of them.
Yeah.
I want Andrew and Tristan.
So here's the thing. I discuss this conundrum with Rollo sometimes. And the issue is this. I want to interview them now. I know a lot of people, what's going to happen is if, let's just say they're found innocent, everyone's going to want to interview them. And there's a lot of people who are afraid to interview them now because the charges are pending. I'm not afraid to interview them now. Right, exactly. So I kind of feel like it would be better to interview them now than to wait. But at the same time, they're trying to prepare a defense because they've been charged with a crime. And I feel like it might be selfish for me to then interview them and then they do something accidentally, obviously, that their defense team, not to incriminate themselves, but their defense team doesn't want that information out. Yeah. And I feel like that's selfish on my part because if I was fighting for my life, you see what I'm saying? Then I might think so I don't know. I'm always stuck on this whole thing where I do want to interview them, but I'm like, is it going to be a problem? So that's the only issue. And the other thing is, I don't know. I would go to Romania. I'd go to Romania in 2 seconds.
Well, they're not going to be found guilty, period.
I don't. Here's the thing. My only concern is would Romania be willing to cheat?
Sure.
For $400 million in crypto. What do you think Romania, who has a GDP smaller than the state of Nevada? Okay, so if they're willing to cheat to get a conviction, would you be worried then? I would be worried.
No, I think they're going to be found not guilty.
Right, but do you understand how the concern might be if Romania is willing to play fast and hard with the rules?
You mean lie, cheat, and all that?
That's exactly what I mean.
Then they wouldn't have let him out.
For $400 million?
They wouldn't have let him out at all.
Okay, I mean... What if there's different? What if the district attorney is doing this and the judge is doing this?
Yeah, but you realize the media, dude, is full of shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so all we ever know is what the media says.
Yeah, but they weren't charged.
I know, but you have to be there, and there's very few people there.
Yeah.
So it's like if you were at an event and you were there personally, and you saw something happen, and then you saw the media, and it was different, and you were like, I was there. You could go tell everybody you fucking know, dude, and the whole world would assume that what the media said happened.
It's crazy.
So if these guys, Romania was dirty and whatnot, they don't have to fucking prove shit. They arrest his ass and they say he was found with this. We've got fucking evidence, everything. And even if they didn't, and people there knew.
I have a hypothesis that they were going to go with those 6 witnesses supposedly that were going to testify against him. 2 of them have now turned against the prosecution and now want to testify for the defense. The judge has thrown out their testimony. And I think what's happened is they've gone from a probable win to a probable loss. And now I'm afraid, just imagine this, right? Imagine, in my situation, let's say Logan Paul was like, fuck Michael Sartain, I want to fight you. I'll fight you for $20 million. Bro, I'd be taking Deca, Tren, I'd be juicing up like a motherfucker. Are you kidding me? For $20 million? Do you know how much juice? I would do I would hire the best trainer. I would do everything inside and outside the rules to win for $20 million. For $400 million, you're telling me Romania might not play outside the rules in order to win this case and to keep all that money? Think of they've got 10 supercars.
Is that what they get? They get to keep it?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how the rule, they don't have a Fourth Amendment there. So obviously illegal search and seizure is not an issue, and they can hold you for more than 72 hours without charging you. So they don't have a U.S. Constitution like we do. So I don't know what the rules are. Do we? Yeah, I mean, they can't keep your shit.
I know it.
Do we have a Constitution?
You sure about that?
We do have a Fourth Amendment.
You sure about that?
We do have a Fourth Amendment.
You see that new meme? You sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay. You sure about that?
I mean, I think it's an interesting...
We have a Constitution, do we?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, you don't think we have a Constitution?
Dude, they're trampling all over the Constitution.
I agree that they're trampling over the Constitution.
Then we don't have one.
I can still own a gun. I can still, I still have the right to freedom of press. Like, I can still say the things. You and I can go outside right now.
You can own a gun without a Constitution.
But what I'm saying is an individual state cannot impinge on my right to own a shotgun.
They can if they want to.
Now, an individual city can impinge on my right to own a pistol, yes, and I think that's unconstitutional. I agree with you.
Okay, so then if it's unconstitutional and it's still a law.
But that's different than there not being a constitution. Like, for instance, the 13th Amendment outlaws slavery.
Yeah, but if nobody abides by it, well, then I guess it's worthless.
The 19th Amendment allows for women's suffrage. These things still, there is a constitution. These things still do matter. I do understand what you're saying. They trample on it. I totally agree. Like, for instance, the idea that, these social media companies that act as utilities can somehow ban my account because I say something that a political party doesn't like. I do think that infringes on my First Amendment. But at the same time, they're private companies. So there's an argument to be made here. I see that, but I don't like ad hoc just believe there is no constitution. I think there is a constitution. That's why I live here and not somewhere else. I love this country. This country's fucking awesome.
Okay, well, again, there you go again with that.
This country is awesome.
I agree. There is a constitution. I just don't agree that they're following it.
Most of it, I think.
And if anybody wants to know who I would want for president, okay, people are like, well, you must like Trump. Again, I don't mind Trump. I mean, he was a little bit of a fucking goof, but, he was a businessman. I don't mind Trump at all. Well, what about DeSantis? You like him? No, not necessarily.
Why do you not like DeSantis? I'll tell you why I do like DeSantis.
Because I've seen some video of him when he doesn't know he's being videoed, and he was acting like a little crybaby.
Yeah, I mean,
number one. But I liked how he was running Florida. I like what I heard. But again, I don't know what I hear, man. It's the media. You can't believe anything. But what I can go on is just fucking looks. You know what I'm saying? So, like, who would I want to see every day representing the United States of America? Who would I want to look at and listen to?
So it's Bernie? That's you like?
No. It's fucking Kristi Noem.
Kristi Noem?
From South Dakota.
Okay.
Google her.
Not aware of that.
She looks like Miss South Dakota.
I like that,
one.
okay.
Number two, she's smart and she's fucking good. And she always seems to be on the right side of the fence. Like, they just tried to pass an update to the UCC, which I don't know what that is, but, this is what she's saying. And when they read the update, right, it was just supposed to be an update. It was basically trying to usher in CB, central bank digital currency.
Oh, I did see this. Yes.
Yeah,
I totally remember
she
this.
vetoed it against massive pressure.
Yeah.
Like, we're not funding South Dakota. We're not doing this. Like, in other words, they can pressure these governors. And she said, I'm vetoing it. Why? Because she doesn't believe it's good for the people. And again, we all know it's not good for the people. Who's trying to usher this shit in? What about the Titan that just freaking went down? Like, coincidentally, there was people. Now, again, this could be a rumor. Why? You hear it in the fucking media. I don't know. But from what I hear, there's people, some very wealthy people on that thing that didn't want central bank digital currency. And now they're all dead. And if you look at the Titanic, of course it was a conspiracy theory. But a lot of those have been proven true. Ask Elon Musk. He started rattling off all the ones that were proven true.
You talk about the Twitter files. When you talk about the
those are partially.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, conspiracy theories doesn't necessarily mean it's bullshit. Okay?
Right.
It means that it's hard to believe. Maybe it's conspiracy theory. Nobody can prove it. Well, the Titanic, when it sank, did you know it had some of the richest people in the world on the Titanic that were against the Federal Reserve happening? And guess what? The fucking Titanic sank. And when you get into it and go look at some of the movies that are made about it, it's like, that thing shouldn't have sank. What happened probably didn't happen. That makes sense. Why? Because now that's happening again. Are you telling me that the very wealthy people that don't want CB, central bank digital currency, to come into play are now dead?
One of those 5 people is a 19-year-old boy. I don't know that had anything to do with this. And the other thing is, there's so much nefarious behavior. Like, they took their life into their own hands.
Who would do that, by the way? Why would you want to go down there in a homemade bullshit submarine?
If I was the 100th trip down, I might go down there. But I wouldn't do the first one, which is what they were doing, which is stupid.
That wasn't the first one. They've been down before.
No, this was the first time privately people paid to go down there before. Like
I know, but that submersible has been down there before.
Right, but it wasn't certified by any particular what's it called, agency, like safety agency or anything like that.
Yeah, they've been down there though. So they're like
I don't know if did that submersible go 12,500?
That submersible's been down there before.
Okay.
There's been people down there in that submersible that did not die.
Yeah. I don't know. What I do know is that the U.S. Navy knew they were dead way before they said anything. They knew they were dead immediately.
Of course.
Well, because they could hear it. They heard the implosion immediately. And by the way, their death was the fastest death in recorded history. They died in probably less than 200 1,000th of a second.
Like they were sitting there and
they're boiled. Yeah, no, it's like the heat in the air pressure inside the cabin would have heated up to a temperature greater than the surface of the sun immediately, and they would have been liquefied and evaporated immediately. There's no bodies to find.
That's how I'd like to go.
Yeah, I mean, you would have no ability to consciously recognize your own death at that. I mean, it's faster than getting shot in the head.
Now, where do you think people go when they die?
I choose by faith to believe in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, but I choose by faith, not by evidence.
Do you know his name?
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
What was
And
his
it's not Yahweh. It's oh god dang. I just watched it. Joshua. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Joshua, that's his name.
Yeah. I choose by faith. Now, there is some evidence.
Why you call him something else?
Why I call him Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
Because I think for me to speak to an audience that mostly knows him as Jesus Christ, it's helpful. And a name is just a name. I understand.
Oh, that's not what he says.
All right. I got you. I understand what you're saying. And you're talking about, this is the original Greek translation?
Well, that was Iesus.
Okay.
Letter J didn't even come around to the 1500s, so his name wasn't Jesus. That back then, that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
And then they say that it's a transliteration from Yahshua into Iesus, which it wasn't a transliteration. Otherwise, all of the Yahshuas would have become Jesuses, but they didn't. And the only reason is Jesus, because Iesus does translate to Jesus, as time goes on.
Yeah.
But the very original translation, they say, was a transliteration, which ultimately you transliterate a name the same no matter what name. So if they're transliterating your name and into all of a sudden now your name is Miguel. Okay, well your name was Michael, now it's Miguel. That's a pronunciation difference. In my belief, a name is a sound. It's a sound.
Yeah.
So if my name's Bob, that my name is a sound. The letters are trying to get you to make the sound, but my name is Bob. So it's my name in every language, in any language. You don't change somebody's name. We changed it.
Well, when I go to Colombia, my family would call me Miguel.
Do you listen to my show ever?
Yeah.
Well, I interviewed a guy named Michael Jones recently. He's got about 300,000 or 400,000 on YouTube. Inspiring philosophy. He's all about the Christian. I mean, he's very scholarly.
Yeah.
We even talked about it. He's a scholar.
You should have Ruslan on.
Ruslan's who gave me Michael.
Okay.
Ruslan said, "You need this guy."
Yeah. Have you had Ruslan on your show?
No.
Oh yeah, he's going to come out here. We're going to this month he's coming out.
But I just did the show, and you know what this guy said? Dude, I can't argue with you. You're fucking right.
Yeah.
That's what he said, pretty much. I mean, again, I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say it like that.
He goes, the Christian theology goes, you're fucking right. Fucking right, Brad.
He did cuss.
You did?
Because again, I mean, dude, think about it. What words? Who made those up?
Well, there's some studies that show that the phonetic sounds that we use tend to be ubiquitous amongst all Homo sapiens. We just use them in different ways. And with some we don't use and some we use more. Like the letter L in Chinese doesn't exist.
But a word.
Yeah, a word.
Like fuck.
Fuck is it's German to strike.
Yeah, but again, somebody gives it the meaning of fucking, and that's why you hear little kids say fuck. You're like, oh, they can't talk like that.
Yeah.
Because of the intention behind the word. What if fuck meant something nice? No one would care that you said fuck.
Well, it depends on your company.
So
I know some people who wouldn't care anyway.
It's the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
So again, who gives it the meaning?
We do, but in that case,
So
then Jesus when I say Jesus, I'm meaning the individual who died on Calvary. Then that's my audience understands who I'm talking about. Regardless if I say Yahshua or if I say Yahweh or if I say Jesus Christ, you still know what I'm talking about.
So who are you trying to honor, your audience or him?
Well, Jesus knows who I'm trying to honor.
How do you know he knows that? How do you know he knows that?
If he's omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient, then he can read my mind.
Exactly. And he's wondering, why are you calling him something other than his name?
Because if I call him,
if I said, listen, tell everybody Brad was here.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, I hear you saying fucking, my boy Barney was here. I'd be like, why are you calling me Barney, bro?
But my audience would also know Brad is Brad, right? Because I would call you that day. But if you say, hey man, secretly my name is Van Damme, and then I was like, hey, Van Damme was here, my audience would be like, who the fuck are you talking about? But
it doesn't matter. Who are you honoring? Me or them.
So in this case, if I want to communicate with, if I want to, because discipleship is part of the New
Who
Testament.
are you honoring?
If I'm in the New Testament of the Bible, they talk about discipleship. If my discipleship is for me to spread the word of God to other people, and they're not aware of that other name, for me to not use the term Jesus Christ actually hinders my ability to disciple.
You could have briefly explained.
Okay. Well, that's I would.
You could have said
the clip of Brad Lee.
You could have said, I believe in Jesus Christ, who's also known as Yahshua. In fact, his real name is Yahshua. But I believe in that. Now, some people say his name is Yeshua. You know, that's pronunciation. That's how you pronouncing it.
Is that
But
Yiddish?
the name is the same, Aramaic.
Okay.
The name is the same no matter where you go. His name, and by the way, I don't believe he's God either. You know, God is God. What was his name? Well, his name was Yahweh or Yahuwah. Some people say it's Yahoo, but Elohim. There's all kinds of names for him that we gave him. But what is his name? Because he gave it to us. My name, and I'll just, again, pronunciation might be wrong. My name is Yahuwah. Well, we call him Elohim. Well, who the fuck are you to change his name? Who changed his name? Did God say, hey, don't call me Yahshua anymore. Call me Jesus. No, he did not change his own name. And by the way, that's not God, that's the Son. People say, no, it's the same. Well, then why was he on the cross saying, why have thou forsaken me? Who's he talking to, himself?
It was a Holy Trinity.
Who's he talking to? Who's he talking to on the cross saying, why have you forsaken me?
I think the analogy.
Who is he talking to?
He's
Just
talking to
answer the
God.
question.
He's talking to God. But that
Okay,
doesn't mean
well, I
he's not
thought that
God.
was God.
I can talk to my hand. Doesn't mean my hand is not me.
Why would your hand ask you why you just fucking picked your nose?
You can. I mean,
It wouldn't. Because it's not separate.
You're trying to.
Only a separate entity can ask the question.
I'm with you.
So he said, why are you forsaking me? Because they're separate,
Right,
man.
you're
They're
trying-
not the same.
You're trying to anthropomorphize.
Who raised
the
him?
Holy Trinity.
Who raised him?
God. I mean, yeah, for sure, God.
Yahuwah, by the way.
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah raised Yahshua. So Yahshua is not God. Otherwise, did he raise himself? No, he did not. He was raised by Yahuwah. Yahuwah is God. Jesus is his chosen. And he does say, the only way you get to me is through my man here. So I ain't saying he ain't the one, dog. I'm saying, folks, his name wasn't Jesus, FY.
Well, so for me, like I said before, the difference between faith and evidence. My faith would be that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. The evidence that I have is, number one, there is a record of Pontius Pilate doing the thing that he has claimed to do in the New Testament. There is a record of people seeing Jesus Christ Jesus of Nazareth being killed on the cross, and then there's a record of apparently several hundred people seeing him after he
Empty tomb and seeing him.
Actually physically seeing him, including doubting Thomas. So from that would be evidence to the sort that we can have for something that was written down 700 years after it happened 2,000 years ago. So that is the evidence I have. Is it proof? No. However, I don't choose to believe solely because of that proof or evidence. I choose to believe because of faith.
Do you know what I believe is proof there's a God? Women.
Quantum mechanics. Oh, women, yeah. Why?
Who could have thought of that?
Random mutation.
Unbelievable.
Evolution.
Hey, unbelievable.
Good or bad?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Okay.
Like, dude, women are evidence of God.
Okay.
Who made that? Who thought of that? That freaking perfection.
Perfection. Interesting.
Dude, they got a little hole for our shit. Like, come on, man. Dude, they are perfect.
They got a little hole for our shit.
Dude, who thought of that? And then by the way, you stick this in there and something comes out and now it creates another human. Like,
Yeah.
dude, what are you kidding me? Like, dude, that's amazing. Who thought of this?
Okay.
Who thought of this? This just happened out of evolution. We were just a primordial sludge. And if that's the case, how did a butterfly exist? And then how did a giraffe exist? And then how did the fucking gorilla
Brad,
exist? And then how does a bumblebee exist? They all came from a fucking little goddamn Amazoa fucking thing? No.
Brad, when you say stuff like this, I don't know whether or not to actually have a serious
Go ahead,
conversation.
have
with
a
you.
serious
Okay,
conversation.
Right. So the problem with what you're saying is Australopithecus existed before Homo sapien, and they were still sticking their penises in vaginas also. So who thought of this?
Crazy.
Who thought of this? Somebody thought, like, again, there are
God. You think the Homo Pithecus came before God?
That's fine. It's Australopithecus. So
whatever. You think they came before God?
The point I'm trying to make is when you say
What about dinosaurs?
Human women.
They were sticking their wieners too.
Correct. Agreed.
Okay. Do you think dinosaurs were before God?
No, nothing
Who was before God?
Nothing
Exactly.
was before God.
So he invented the penis and the female.
I think God invented the Higgs boson, which then created matter, turned into mass, and then
That could
created
be.
the universe.
I got to know more about the Higgs boson.
Higgs boson. It is so basically before the Big Bang, there is just energy, and then there's a field in which the energy passes through that gives matter mass. That's the Higgs field. That's what it is. And then from that, all that energy turning it,
So you believe we evolved?
Yeah, I do. I don't see. In fact, I think we evolved, and I don't think it actually has a contradiction with the New Testament.
Do you think
the
we're
Old
still
Testament?
evolving?
Yes. No, because there's no apex predator trying to kill us. So I'll tell you what I mean by that.
Yes, there is.
But you had children though. It doesn't matter. Even if something kills you tomorrow, you still have 7 kids. My point is this. So let's say a group of humans go to Mars, okay, which is going to be really hard for you to deny the moon landing if we have people on Mars. But let's say there's a group of people that live on Mars. If they live on
ain't nobody been there yet.
Mars,
yeah,
no humans have been there. We have rovers up there. Yeah, I do believe, and I'm debating John Zerk on this shit in a couple days.
Sure, we do.
Okay, whatever. The issue with that is, let's just say there is a group that goes to some other planet, and when they go over there are certain things that would kill some of them and let other ones live. Like for instance, the temperature is colder, so the people who have adapted to colder temperatures should have more children, or there's a lower oxygen environment, so the people who have stronger lungs would be able to have more children. The thing is, because of technological advances, all of them would live. Does that make sense? Yeah. Meaning, in the 17th century, Stephen Hawking would not be one of the foremost physicists on the planet, but in the 21st century he was, because even though he had motor neuron disorder, he was able to use devices to keep him alive and for him to have his whole theory on Hawking radiation, which he may win the Nobel Prize. Well, he can't win it posthumously, but he may be proven right with his Hawking radiation.
Didn't Obama win that?
No, that's a different prize. He did not win the Nobel Prize in physics.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Nobel Prize in physics. You're talking about the Nobel Peace Prize. So
Obama. And by the way, that's who's president, FYI.
Have you talked to Gary, the numbers guy? Because that's what he came on here and said.
No.
Barack Obama.
Who Gary, the numbers guy, is.
He said that Barack Obama is secretly running Biden and has an office in Washington, and it's still his administration. 100%. It's a similar administration. It's
100%.
Oh, it's a similar administration.
Joe ain't doing shit.
I think Joe's
wandering around wondering what to do and where to go.
I think, yeah. I mean,
who puts the teleprompter in front of him? Who decides what's on that teleprompter? Joe? No. Whoever decides what's on that teleprompter is running shit more than Joe is.
Well, who was running the teleprompter when Obama was president? Because he had a teleprompter also. He had a teleprompter.
The same people who are running it now. Because Obama ain't in charge either. The people that are in charge, I believe, are way above the United States government.
Okay.
It's the global elite, and I do believe they exist.
Well, somebody needs to crack down on that and fix that.
Well, I don't know how you can, because money is very corruptive.
I agree, yeah.
Okay, so if I have, and keep in mind, just take Bill Gates, for example. How many billions does he have?
He's in the 400 range.
So if you gave every governor in the United States $10 million, how much would you have to spend?
50 times 10 is 500 million.
Chump change.
Yeah.
Chump fucking change.
Yeah.
Now you take Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, all the billionaires you've never even heard of, by the way.
Yeah.
Now it's really chump change. Maybe it's not 10 million. Maybe it's 100 million. How the fuck is Nancy Pelosi worth $100 million?
That would be
how
insider trading.
Exactly. Yeah. How are these politicians getting so rich? It's crooked, man. So if it's crooked, there's this global elite that's so rich and so powerful. They tell the government what they're doing. They control the interest rates. They control the fucking monetary system, the Federal Reserve, et cetera, et cetera. There's many countries that all of a sudden got blown up because they didn't go with the Federal Reserve, the central banking. They didn't like it. So guess what they did? They killed people. Well, dude, is that so hard to believe? Like, dude, they'll kill you. Now, that's why, when people say, well, Brad, why do you say, dude, they don't care about Brad fucking Lee. They don't care that I'm over here spouting off and, oh my God, they're going to listen to this man.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate, a lot more people are listening to him.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different of a story. So I think the global elite do exist, and that's who's running our country and the rest of the country. I mean, the world, I should say. There's elite, and they're very, 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 very wealthy, and with that money, they can they're above the law. Like, they buy judges, they buy governors, they buy politicians, they buy presidents, they buy militaries, they buy secret services, they buy anything they want because they're that rich. And don't tell me that if I'm a governor and someone came along and said, hey, I'll give you the right number to where, dude, you and yours will never need another thing. All you got to do is go this way. And by the way, if you don't go that way, we're going to fucking, get Epstein's pictures of you humping the kids. Now what? See, that's another thing. Epstein. Who decided that list should not be released? Who fucking decided that?
Oh, I agree with you.
Okay, well, they don't get a fucking... Where's the goddamn list? Release it. It's demanded by the people. The people want it released.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's so fucking powerful we can't see who was on that goddamn list?
Yeah. I don't disagree.
Okay, so release the fucking list. Okay? Release the fucking list.
I think one of the dangers, though, Brad, is like saying that all...
No, it's because when you see who's on that fucking list...
I totally agree with you.
The whole world crumbles.
What I'm saying is, I think one of the problems is when you say corruption everywhere is corruption anywhere is corruption everywhere. What I mean by that is all corruption is one singular body of corruption. I think that becomes dangerous. Some people are just corrupt.
I know, but
and have no connection to the global elite.
If they release that list,
I don't disagree with this at all.
The world
it would be incredibly embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. The world's trust would immediately disintegrate.
Do you think so? Because I really think people are very fucking cynical as it is right now.
But
I think if aliens showed up on the lawn of the White House tomorrow, people would give a shit for about a week and they'd go back to their TikTok videos. I think we're way past
Which is
that
what
point.
I said about Andrew Tate getting killed. Like, if someone got killed, there'll be a few diehards freaking out about it. But pretty shortly, it'll be over, dude.
I think the world...
JFK got assassinated. He was very popular. He was probably more popular than Andrew Tate is now. Like
as a percentage, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, dude, he got killed and that was it. Nope, it's over. Buried. Why? Buried. Why? Because, dude, I control the media, I control the government, I control the judges, I control the politicians, I control the rules. You're not going to prosecute me. Why? Because my dad's the fucking president. So Hunter Biden, stone cold evidence, proof. Video's proof, isn't it?
Yeah.
Proof. Nothing's happening to him. Why? Is he above the law?
No, I mean, I agree.
They have proof that Chinese money went to a fucking offshore account and then to the Biden family, multiple members of it. Proof nothing's happening to them. Like, they don't get to decide. Epstein got busted. Okay, good. Where's the fucking list of all the people that were there? Well, we've decided it needs to remain anonymous. Who decided that? Someone tell me who decided it, and let's unvote them out. Let's impeach them. Let's overturn them. Why? Well, they work for us. We the people control shit. So let's say, it's Michael Sartain. Michael Sartain is the judge that made the decision that should stay sealed. Well, fuck Michael Sartain. He's out. And everybody's out until someone gets in there and says, release the goddamn list. Why? Because we the people demand it. That's why. And I'll bet you we the people do demand it. Everybody would agree with what I'm saying. Everybody would say agree with lists, except for like real practical people. And you know why they wouldn't? Because it will cause massive anarchy. Because you'll start to see that fucking the people that were on that list, the Clintons and because again, it's all rumors. I don't know who's on the list, but the Clintons supposedly are on the list. Will Smith is supposedly on the list. Like all these people that we've admired and loved for so long. Now, all of a sudden, like you just cannot, if the proof came out and you could not trust them, now all of a sudden you don't know who to trust. Anarchy.
Brad, I feel like we don't know who to trust now. I feel like what's in the media right now is already anarchy. And I feel like if aliens...
Not
landed,
literal anarchy.
But I think in the media it is. And I think that if aliens landed on the White House front lawn, you'd have half the people saying that the video was faked. I just don't think...
Yeah, they'd say Project Bluebeam.
But my point is, I don't think there's anything on that list that would cause the world to drop into anarchy. I think they should release the list. I think it's a lot simpler than that. I think there are people trying to cover their own ass, and they have power, and they don't want the list released.
Because they're fucking on it.
I agree. No, totally agree with you. I just don't...
So who are they?
I disagree with you. I disagree with you about the anti-fragileness of the human population. I think we could handle pretty much anything. After we nuked Hiroshima and Nagasaki, like I think the planet could pretty much handle anything at this point.
Other than multiple of those.
Right. Well, even that, I mean, I think it would be anything other than actual killing us.
Or an asteroid.
Even with an asteroid, I think it would be bad. But
what happened to the dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs got hit by an asteroid that hit and landed in the Yucatan about 65 million years ago.
What if that happens again?
That would be bad, but we're all done. But we'd all see the asteroid from like 400 years before it landed here.
But we're all done.
They didn't have a space. They didn't have a space program.
So here's the question: who has the power to seal that list.
I agree with you. Let's get rid of them. Let's do some research and get rid of them. I have no issue with that. What you're
It's the
saying.
global elite.
I think where we're
because they're on the list.
I think where we're disagreeing is that I think if that entire list was released and the list literally said Barack Obama's name and Hillary Clinton's name, people would be like, yeah, I figured, and they'd go about their fucking day and go to CVS the
Can I
next
ask
day.
you a question? If your name was on that list and you knew it, and they said, Michael, should we release the list?
Of course, I'd say no. Yeah, of
No.
course.
Okay, so
Right.
again, why is the United States population so stupid?
Yeah, but you're saying global elite, and I'm saying a couple of like weird pedophiles.
But they're all elite.
I don't think there are pedophiles who aren't elite. That's my point.
There's pedophiles that aren't elite,
And there are people on that list who aren't elite also.
And then there's well, again, there's pedophiles that aren't elite.
Yeah.
And then there's elite pedophiles.
I'm not even going to try to monetize this video at this point. This is ridiculous.
Why, we can't monetize
We've
it?
said so many. We've said rape and fucking Andrew
By the
Tate
way,
and-
that's the second most viewed video I have on YouTube.
Which one?
Child trafficking.
I remember that. That was the first one I watched. But he was talking about adrenochrome and all that kind of stuff. I remember.
I know it was
As a
foolish.
boxer.
It was conspiracy and all this and all that. But at the end of the day, like, dude, if I can get away with it, you can get away with it.
Yeah. I think it was as far as monetization though of individual videos. You probably
How much would you make on the video?
Oh, nothing. It doesn't make any
I'll
difference.
throw you a couple hundred.
No, you don't have to, bro. I get to learn from
I'll
Brad.
throw you a couple hundred. Let me monetize
I get
it.
to learn from Brad Lee. Are you kidding me?
I want it to be played in its entirety.
Of course, we're going to play this whole thing in entirety. I do want to ask you about a couple other people. So Patrick Bet-David,
What about him?
what do you think about him? As he to me, I admire him for a couple reasons. My mother was an immigrant. He came over from Iran. He joined the 101st Airborne, which I have a ton of respect for. One of his main guys, which is Sosnick, is a good friend of mine. Sosnick and I, in this sort of manosphere space, we're moderates, and so that's why he and I get along so well. And I'm just really impressed with all the stuff that he's doing. And then you kind of don't know what's real and what is real. Now he's minority owner of the Yankees. And that is an incredible
Well,
level
he
of
got
substance.
a couple $100 million.
A couple $100 million for sure, but they
What do you
don't
do with it?
They also don't have to sell to any. They can choose. There are people with lots of money who can't buy an NFL
but everybody
team.
loves PBD.
I love PBD too. I'm just saying that I feel like it's a win for the good guys is what I'm saying. And what are your thoughts of him in total as a guy?
He's a smart dude.
Yeah,
and I think he's kind of real.
Well-
He's an intellect, number one.
Yes.
but I like the dude. I mean I don't like if he gave me advice, I'd follow it.
me too.
Why? Because he's a smart dude. He's lived a long time and he's had incredible success. So his books are intelligent. His conversation is intelligent. His topics. He seems to be impartial. I like him.
He there's just very impressive that all the things that he did, and then listening to Adam talk about him is really impressive because he's the leader of the show and the star of the show at the same time. Do you
What
understand what I'm
show,
saying?
though?
I mean, Valuetainment is his flagship.
I know because I got an email that says Valuetainment wants me on a podcast. I'm like, cool.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it's fucking PBD.
yeah. So Valuetainment is Jedediah Bila and it's Adam Sosnick and it's PBD.
Yeah, but when they interviewed me, it was just Adam and a girl.
Yeah, it's Natalia.
Natalia. Adam and Natalia interviewed me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that like the junior league?
No, I mean it's different. But
How come Adam and Patrick didn't interview me?
Patrick, I don't know where Patrick was at the time, but I don't
It's
know.
because of Patrick's smart, dude. That's like Andrew Tate and fucking presidents and fucking, high level people is who Patrick talks to.
Yeah.
He's not going to talk to what he believes down here, folks.
Well, he'll be here.
That's
in
what
August.
Adam's for.
He'll be here in August. Maybe we can get him do your show. PBD.
He's been on my show.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
I mean, I ain't saying he doesn't like fucking regular people.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is he's smart and he knows for branding and imaging, he needs to be reserved for the freaking bigwigs. He's not. He don't have time to fucking interview the little folks like me.
You're not little folks. You're Brad Lee.
Oh, well.
Everyone in this space looks up to you.
Well, dude, listen. That's rumor. That's conjecture.
Dude, I go to the seminars. I see
what
it
do they
with
say?
my own eyes. Everybody looks up to you, man.
but why wouldn't they? I mean, but why? Number one, I don't think looking up they do. I think they respect me. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't they? I haven't done anything to not respect.
Right.
I keep shit real. I tell the truth. I know a lot of people, by the way, that, if you say, well, who do you like better, PBD or Brad Lee? There'll be people that'll say Brad Lee doesn't make me better than fucking Patrick Bet-David. And there's going to be people, probably majority, say Patrick Bet-David. That doesn't make him better than me. The question is at what?
Yeah.
For what? We both have our own talents. If you want to be entertained, I bet you I'd win. Like, I'll entertain an audience longer and better than Patrick would. To inform an audience, I think he's going to be probably better in that.
Yeah, I try to do 10 hours of research on every guest because of PBD. But he has a staff that does it for him. But when he did the Andrew Tate interview, he had so much data in front of him.
He's fucking serious.
And that's what I try, because that's the only thing I can do. I'm not as entertaining as some of these other guys. I just try to outwork other people.
Yeah, but I don't do that.
Yeah.
Which is, again, that's what I mean by if I tried, can you imagine if I tried?
You'd be killing it.
Can you imagine if I tried to make dropping bombs killer?
Yeah.
People are like, well, you don't? Well, no, it's just I don't do all this research. I get a little sheet that tells me who it is. And I'm like, oh, great, another realtor. I'm like, who's fucking booking these people? Well, they're calling in. So I had to say, stop fucking letting everybody and their mom get on the fucking show, dude. Like, I want real people.
Yeah.
And then, well, this guy's a realtor, but he's the top realtor in Kentucky. He's with the fucking Furman Group. And I'm like, okay.
I have a similar issue. Like my team, I get to I approve every single guest, but my team will send people to me, and it's like very quickly in 2 seconds. I look at, okay, they have 1 million followers on Instagram, and then I look at the comments, and they're all fire emojis, so they're fake. And then I look at the people who are following them, and it's a bunch of like Cyrillic and Arabic alphabet. And then I go look at their interviews on YouTube, and they have 12 views. And I'm like, okay, this guy just bought his following. And I'm constantly, these guys are being thrown at me, and I'm getting emails to try to have them on. And I would rather just have like a very interesting physicist with no fucking following whatsoever to come on and have an interesting conversation and piss people off. I would rather do that than have somebody on. Again, I don't have a problem. And a lot of these guys, no offense, I know because I'm pissing people off, a lot of them are in solar. They used to be in NFTs, and they've just bought a following, and then they're just trying to like do the work to build your own brand. That's the only thing I'm saying,
Well, I think I'm being used in some cases because for some reason my audience, which is called the Bomb Squad,
Yeah.
they're pretty fucking active and loyal.
Yeah.
Meaning if I have you on and I say, hey, go follow this dude, for some reason, they allow me to give you credibility.
So this is the thing we were talking about. I was with Wes Watson, and he specifically said this. You and Andy Frisella have an audience that when you say go do a thing, they do the thing, right? More than most people do. And so that was really impressive. I haven't been on Andy Frisella's show.
Do you know why I think that's the case?
Why?
Because they trust me.
Yes.
And they know that I wouldn't be saying it unless I believed it. So at the end of the day, though, I've had people on that do e-commerce drop shipping. We'll make you a store for $40,000. We'll make you a store. It'll make you $8,000 a month. You don't have to do nothing. It's just a store. It's drop shipping. Well, I haven't seen one of those turn out. I haven't seen any of them turn out. So now when people say, hey, I want to be on your show, and they're drop shippers, I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to offer money. My average offer to be on the show is $25,000.
That's crazy.
And it's like, I'm thinking, can I get 100 people at $25,000? Now it's worth it. But then who are the people? Because it's not worth it if they're a bunch of fucking top realtors. And all they're going to do is try to get, and I don't even know why a realtor would want on the show. It's not like everybody in the world lives in this town that they live in. And now everyone's going to do business with them. But like Pace Morby, you know Pace?
No.
He's a good interview too. But I like people that give good information. Pace Morby teaches people how to do subject to financing. It's how to get in the real estate game with bad credit, good credit, doesn't matter. Like it's subject to. He was just on Grant's show. By the way, a lot of the shows, watch my show and pick people based on my show, which I don't know.
The same thing happened to me.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't necessarily know why, because do they think I'm picking people on purpose? Like Alex Hormozy, before he even had a YouTube channel, I was putting him on stages. Why? Because he's a smart son of a bitch.
He is, yeah.
But anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that.
But I guess the thing that I wanted to ask
Oh yeah, you do research. I don't do any research. I just get a little sheet tells me who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I try to ask questions. I think my first interview of you and this one also is more detailed than anybody's ever interviewed you. I think that's the case. It's just my opinion.
Because you've prepared questions?
Correct.
Have you asked them?
mean?
Because I don't remember you asking any questions.
On the last one?
At all, today.
Yeah, I have. We just go over the subject. So you've gone over some of the subjects on your own. Like I didn't ask the moon landing when you just brought it up.
Okay, good.
So most of them. There's a couple of them. Like you were just saying before, let's talk about something controversial. Something that I found is that if you say anything anti-Russia, on anything, just try this. See if it works for you. Anything, any clip anti-Russian, you're going to get a bunch of comments from like unnamed bots on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube. And so the Russia-Ukraine war is something I've been talking about a lot, and it just goes viral. Anytime I talk about testosterone, anytime I talk about the Russia-Ukraine war, it just goes viral.
Testosterone?
Testosterone, yeah. Testosterone's a big one. Testosterone's it's a layup to go viral. Yeah.
Well, number one, I don't have anything really negative to say about Russia.
Yeah.
Like, I like Putin. I'd rather have Putin as our president than fucking Joe Biden.
Okay.
Putin doesn't fuck around, dude.
He doesn't.
Now, again, I don't know. Maybe he's a murderer and blah, blah, blah. Like fucking, well, who told you that? Fucking media. Okay, so I don't believe none of that shit.
Yeah.
What I see that he's imposed laws that if you fuck with their food, you're a fucking terrorist. We fuck with our own food. We've got poisonous food. And we got fucking lobbyists allowing Monsanto and people like that to fuck with our food. Oh, Putin put in a fucking law that says you fuck with the food, you're a terrorist. We'll fucking kill you. Dude, I applaud that. Why? Don't fuck with our food, asshole. Like, you know, it's pretty simple. This is our food, man. We've got poisonous food. We have food here that's allowed, that's not allowed in other countries.
Yeah.
Why? I've had people come to Italy with me that are lactose intolerant, can't drink this, can't eat that. They go there, they eat it all. No problem at all. Why? Because there's certain shit that there's in American food under the guise of the FDA and all this bullshit.
Yeah.
It's poison, man. Go look at some red colorings. Go look up like red dye 3 or red or whatever. Why is it in the food? To make it more appealing of a color. Really? That's why? Okay? Bullshit, dude. It's in the fucking food so we get sick and buy your goddamn medicine. Why? It's the same people, dude. Now, is that conspiracy? Maybe. Do I think there's evil people putting fucking poison in crackers so we'll all slowly die? No, but when you look at the ingredients in crackers, you're like, what the fuck is that in there for? Well, that allows it to be on the shelf for an additional month. That it's a shelf life. Okay. But what does it do to human beings? Well, you know, it's been known to cause cancer. Then it shouldn't be fucking allowed in the goddamn cracker. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. Yeah, of course.
Like, dude, use common sense when it comes to shit.
Yeah.
You know, profiteering is over human life, and I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, dude, take Pfizer. Pfizer has been criminally charged and fined billions of dollars, but they're still allowed to be in business.
Yeah.
Huh? What?
Right.
They're criminally liable, and all they get is fined. So you can break the law as long as you'll pay for it. Dude, that's fucking criminal. That's bullshit. There's been companies like Dow. There's a movie about it. They knew their chemicals were causing cancer in their nonstick pans. You remember this?
Vaguely.
I think there's a movie called Blackwater or something like that. Anyway, you can look it up. It's a true story. Aaron Brockovich, true story. There's all these true stories where these massive companies are literally killing people, and they know it's killing people.
Yeah.
But they're making billions and billions and billions. So I'm going to go ahead and kill all these people because I might make 100 billion, and you're only going to basically penalize me 5.
5, yeah.
Well, I net $95 billion, and I'm still allowed to operate. How is that possible, dude? You get fucking found guilty of killing people, you get any of these scandals, you're out of business. I pull your license, you're done. Your whole company's over with. Why? Because you fucked around. So Putin, I hear, thinks like that. Putin doesn't fuck around. Why do we got some fucking clown that shit in his pants running our country? Because he's not running our country. But anyway, I'm going to get a lot of fluff on this one, but I wouldn't necessarily bash Russia.
Oh, I'm not bashing Russia. I'm just curious if
you said go ahead and see what they do. I'm not bashing Russia. Why? I don't know enough about Russia, dude. It's all probably propaganda and bullshit. Every time I see or hear what Vladimir Putin is talking about, I'm getting it through translation. So I'm just hoping is what they're saying.
I see what you're saying.
But the shit he's saying, I'm like, I like that. Just like Kristi Noem. She vetoed it amongst massive pressure not to. I like that. Why? Because she's doing the right thing, man. And from what I see, Putin does the right thing. Now, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I'm not over there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you right now, if someone said, hey, would you rather have Vladimir Putin come run the country or continue to let Joe, or whoever really is, I'd rather have Vladimir Putin. Would you?
Viral. There we go. That's it. That's the one.
Now, again, I might be hated and canceled, but hey, if anyone uses the context, in context, I didn't say anything wrong. It's just my opinion.
I think Vladimir Putin is doing best what Vladimir Putin thinks is the best thing for Russia. I agree
for
with
Russia.
That.
I think he loves his country.
Yes,
I think he's protecting his people. Now, has he murdered and all this shit that they say? Have we?
Yeah, of course we have.
Exactly.
We actually murdered Russians and helped the Mujahideen do it in 1983 in Afghanistan.
Didn't we just blow up their fucking oil line or something?
As a U.S. military member,
called?
it's called Nord Stream 2.
The Nord Stream.
As a U.S. military member, my position on this is I don't give a fuck if we did. Makes no difference to me whatsoever. We have absolutely no necessity whatsoever to protect Russia from anything
Agreed.
whatsoever.
And by the way, just for the record, everybody, if someone said, pick a country, Brad, I'm picking fucking America, even with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
But if someone said, Brad, you can have America, but ran with a more fucking, powerful person, I'd take that.
I was referring more to the Russia-Ukraine thing, that whole situation.
I don't understand what's going on there.
Yeah.
Do you?
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, I studied
Based on what? You been there?
No, just so I look at reports from Russia. Russia has some outward stuff that they put out, and then reports from U.S. intelligence, and it's pretty obvious. I mean, obviously,
what's going on there?
Russia invades. They expect to take over the country in about 10 days. They're not able to because the Ukrainians knew the Russians were going to invade. They have much less materiel in humans, but they're much more prepared than the Russians are. The Russians come in. They think they're going to swarm Kiev. It doesn't work. So they take probably 15% of the country in Donbass, and they build a land bridge from Donbass all the way down to Crimea that they've already taken. And in doing so, now they're trying to do another offensive to take over the rest of the country, but it's just not working out because the European Union, specifically the United States, is sending over aid. That the problem is the reason why I believe Russia had to invade when they did was because 200 F-35 Lightnings are being sold by the United States to NATO members. So I believe Germany by itself is getting 50. These are stealth aircraft. Once we get to the point where the European Union has stealth aircraft, now Russia literally doesn't have, they aren't even that means Finland can defeat Russia at that point. Russia doesn't have any stealth aircraft. They have a Sukhoi 57 that has I was reading, the Sukhoi 57 has a radar cross-section 50,000 times bigger than the F-22. So it's not really stealth. The Chinese don't really have any stealth aircraft. So there's an asymmetry of materiel. And because of that, I think Russia felt like they have to invade at this point. And if they don't, they're not going to have a chance to get the Ukraine. If Ukraine became part of NATO, then that's a serious problem for Russia because now there's these pipelines that go through Ukraine. They can no longer sell their petroleum to Germany through that way. And so that's why whoever blew up Nord Stream 2 blew it up. So now that there's no way for Germany to do it. That's what I think's going on. I'm not making a moral judgment. I'm just saying they made a mistake. They thought they were going to take over the country in 10 days. Like we took over Baghdad in 21 days. They thought they were going to take over Kiev in 10 days. It didn't happen. And now we're 18 months later. There's no way you can tell me Vladimir Putin intended for a year and a half war. And then what happened was his private
He's also
army,
not using his might.
Well, his private army, Wagner, just turned on him on Saturday. They started driving north towards Moscow. Then they Putin went on television, stated that he was going to try the leader of Wagner for treason. Then they came to a negotiating ploy. He said, okay, we're going to fight in favor of Russia. And then he stationed them in Belarus. Basically, his regular army and his defense minister hate each other. I'm sorry, his paid army, Wagner, and his defense minister, they fucking hate each other. And so he has to keep them in two different platforms. So I think what they're going to do is use the regular army in Donbass, and they're going to use Wagner to invade from Belarus into Kiev. I think that's what's probably going to happen. I'm more interested in what's going to happen. I'm more interested in the chessboard. I'm not trying to make a moral judgment here.
I think we should butt out.
Well, here's the thing. While I understand the point, it's cheaper for us to do this than it was for us to prosecute a war in Afghanistan and Iraq, number one. Number two, we're giving Russia a black eye without using any American troops. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just telling you what U.S. foreign policy would be. And number three, it's a 12-hour drive from Kiev to Berlin. And if you think that if Donald Trump were president and Russia had invaded Ukraine, that Donald Trump wasn't going to send any aid to Ukraine, you're being naive. Donald Trump was going to send aid to Ukraine if this happened under his administration. Now, would it have been 130 billion? I don't know. Would he have given 35 M1 Abrams tanks to the Ukrainians? I don't know. Would he
Where do
given
you get all this information?
Huh? The U.S. State Department puts it out. They're given 35. They actually
U.S. State Department.
Well, the Ukrainians are like there's actual tanks. You can see the tanks.
The U.S. State Department puts it out.
Why would the U.S. State Department lie about giving tanks to the Ukrainians?
I don't know.
No, but why would it lie about giving tanks
I
to the
don't
Ukrainians?
know. Why would they?
Okay, so we can just...
Dude, why does the government have a $6 billion fucking accounting error? Where'd $6 billion go?
I don't know. I don't know where $6 billion.
Weird. But,
Okay,
but they said it didn't go anywhere. So good.
Then they gave it to Ukraine. I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
You trust the government way too much.
No, I don't trust. It's not that I'm trusting the government. It's that
You said you get it from the State Department.
No, but
that
I
don't
also
make it true.
But I also get it from Russia. Like for instance, Russia was the one who stated that there was a coup.
So you get the State Department's information, then you get Russia's version of the State Department, and you sit there and study it?
Negative. So you would look at what the State Department says. You would look at what Russia actually says. Their state-run media would say. Then there's independent journalists, like for instance, Alex Holling, who's a former U.S. Marine Corps captain, and he actually has his own. He's a journalist, and he studies air power. Then there's other journalists that study different things, but they don't work for Fox News. They don't work for CNN. And then you look at Fox News and CNN too, if you want. But you would look at all these preponderance of things and say the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. The truth is generally somewhere between what the U.S. government says and what the Russian government says. It's somewhere in the middle. That's what I'm saying. But neither side is denying there's a war. Neither side is denying there was a coup. Neither side is denying that Russia tried to take Kiev. Neither side is denying that Donbass, they all speak Russian. Neither side is denying that.
Does any side deny that there were no weapons of mass destruction?
We're talking about in Iraq? In Iraq, what are you talking about? What are you specifically talking about?
We supposedly went over there because they blew up the fucking the World Trade Center. And
we didn't go to Iraq because they blew up the
World
World
Trade
Trade
Center.
Center.
For mass destruction and all the bullshit.
Do I think a lot of it was bullshit? Yes, but like
total bullshit.
We
were over there snatching oil and laundering money.
Right, but it's not total bullshit because they were aiding Al Qaeda and there were graves full of fucking Kurds that they used chemical weapons on their own people.
I know, but we have destabilized governments on purpose.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I agree with you with the idea that we said one thing and did another. I totally understand.
And it's corruption.
Yes,
it's laundering money, man.
So you would be against any of those wars, even like Afghanistan, to go kill Osama bin Laden?
Again, it depends on what's the truth. If the truth is we need to step in and save a fucking, oppressed group of people from a fucking tyrant, yeah, I think we should be there. Why? Because I don't think bullying's cool at all. So if that's the truth.
You don't think that's what we did in Iraq, though?
No.
Half their population couldn't vote, and they were killing millions of, or not hundreds of thousands of Kurds in the northern part of their country.
Again, dude, I
the Shias and the Sunnis, like he was.
I know, but
Saddam Hussein
I wasn't there, so I don't know. All I can know is what the media is telling me.
The problem
and here's what I do know:
yeah,
the media is full of shit.
The problem.
So I don't listen to the media. So just because the media said it, Mike, doesn't make it fucking true.
So there's different people in the media, and I look at to say, if we under your litmus, there's no way to know anything ever.
Exactly, and
right. But the problem is that then you can never act. Like someone nukes your country, and you can never act because the media said that. Like at some point, someone has to act.
The media. That's all.
So okay,
go get real evidence. Go get real proof.
Brad.
Go look.
Correct.
Quit listening to the
at
fucking
some point
State Department.
There's
State Department could tell you anything.
Someone nukes Kansas City. And the media reports that someone nuked Kansas City. And then Brad's like, well, I haven't seen the evidence, so I'm not going to believe we shouldn't go to war with Russia.
My brother's in Kansas City, and he said, yes, a bomb just went off.
For sure. But then I go and I film that. And then I show the film that Kansas City's been nuked. And so, well, it's a deep fake. And now my video is now being shared on CNN and Fox News, and that's the media, and we don't trust the media. Like at some point, we get into this spiral, Brad, where nobody can do anything.
That's where we're at.
I'm with you, but we can still do things, Brad. Like
and we will always, but it doesn't make it right or wrong.
But then maybe as an individual, we have to work harder to say the truth is somewhere between here and here.
How about we make it against the law to fucking lie if you're the media?
It'd be great. That'd be awesome.
How about hold media accountable for all the bullshit?
You don't have a disagreement for me?
Okay, so again, there's remedies. All I'm saying is I don't listen to the media. You say, well, State Department. Fuck, you act like the State Department cannot lie and never has.
Of course they lie, but my point is there's 10 different.
It's all bullshit.
There's 10 different sources.
It's all bullshit, though.
But at some point, something happened. There is a place called Russia that invaded a place called Ukraine.
Well, we don't know.
Do you see what I'm saying, though? At some point, your skepticism has to stop, or else we just can't even walk outside anymore.
Well, I'm not in Russia. That's why I don't worry about Russia.
I got you.
I'll let Russians worry about Russia.
I asked you this because you wanted a controversial topic, and so that's.
I didn't know Russia was such a controversial.
Hell yes.
Oh, really?
Hell yes.
So they're not. Are they going to like me or dislike me?
If you say anything negative against Russia, you're going to get a ton of comments and bots. Very much like the fucking Forex bullshit that you get on.
Oh my god,
that shit is crazy. That
and
they came after me. They came after me after you did that. I went on your show every day. I get that Forex bullshit.
Everywhere I see gets it. Like I'm not the only one that gets that shit. Go look at fucking, remember that account I showed you, Tate?
Yeah.
Go look at it.
It's Forex all over the place.
He's got the same bullshit.
I
Brian Stuman has the same bullshit. Everybody, because I check, because I'm like, dude, is this somebody targeting me? But it's not me, dude. It's everybody.
I block every single one of them, and they still come back the next day. It's unbelievable.
Because it's a new account, different account.
It's so crazy
I
to me.
tried, dude. Now I can't do it, but when I notice them, I delete them. And you know that I think Instagram is in on it?
Maybe.
I think they're getting paid somehow. You know why? Because I'll go delete these. And by the way, Instagram can fucking figure out if you posted Andrew Tate's video, but they can't figure out these fucking bots. Bullshit.
Yeah.
And not only that, how come I can't hold the name and have it pop up block? So when I see it, I just go block. But it won't let you do that. It's a pain in the ass. Why? Well, because I think they're in on it. Why? Because I'll delete them. I'm obsessed. I have to delete them all that I see. So I delete. After about 4 or 5 deletes, it pops up and says, you know that you can block these by words.
Yeah.
So don't delete them. Just block them. Hide them by the words. And again, what words? What words?
FTX, yeah.
Thank God for Miss Evelyn. You know, she's revolutionized.
I didn't believe at first. I'm so sorry that I did not believe. But Evelyn has made me 5,000% return.
Yeah, so now I got to go put that in a library. So where now anyone that says fucking, I didn't believe is not going to be showing up. Why?
You know what's funny? I started making videos where I talked about every person who comments in an Instagram post about Forex is a fucking 100% liar. I did that just to see what would happen.
But there are people that make
they
money
just fucking they just crushed. It's a bunch of them were in there.
But do you believe that you can make money in Forex?
It's hard. It's very difficult.
I know, but I know someone that makes money in Forex.
It's about 98% of people who get into Forex don't make money.
I know someone who makes a lot of money.
I believe that they do, and they probably sell a course.
I don't think they do.
Okay. Then that's good. I'm sure some people make money because it is a foreign exchange. Obviously, there's
legitimate. They don't. These guys don't fucking sell a course, dude.
Okay. There's legitimate uses of foreign exchange. There's also a commercial use of foreign exchange where you hand them your credit card and then you have like 50-to-1 leverage from some guy who works at McDonald's, and it's a fucking problem. That's the majority of people who get into Forex don't make money.
Well, I didn't get into Forex when I heard about it because it was too close to foreskin.
Yeah,
I don't fuck with that.
Foreskin's kind of gross. I think we can agree on that. I think that's the ultimate agreement there. Dude, you have 7 kids. You have 5 girls and 2 boys?
Yes.
How's that work? How is some of them gone off to college? How is this? Because you explained before 4 different mothers. You had one in college?
In college? I didn't go to college.
No, one in high school? What was that? I can't remember.
One in high school.
One in high school. And then the next one you had 2?
Well, no. I did one in high school.
Okay.
One time. Boom, got her pregnant. That was when I was 17.
Uh-huh.
So you don't get to choose whether you keep it or don't keep it. Obviously, that's a female decision. So she decided to keep it, and so I got a kid. Now, all I did was one time. So I waited for a little while before I did it again because I thought, dang, I don't want that to happen again. And I did it again about 1.5 years later, and boom, pregnant. So 2 high school people type. One was right out of high school, and one was a one-night stand, and one was a girlfriend. But
wow.
But I had 2 now. So then, 2 or 3 years later, I'm in Las Vegas. I end up getting married for the first time.
Where'd you meet her?
My wife?
Yeah.
Or my then wife?
Yeah.
Through a couple friends. And she was a virgin.
Yeah.
From Egypt.
Wow.
Beautiful. So anyway, I thought, well, I always wanted a virgin. So I don't know why I wanted a virgin, but I always did. So anyway, I liked her. And she had a truck I needed. So I'm like, fuck it. Let's get married.
She had a truck, and she was a virgin, so I had kids with her.
Yeah, well, I didn't have kids with her. We married.
Oh, okay.
And then we had kids.
Yeah.
So we had 2 boys. And then I stayed married to her for like 10 years. And then I got divorced because she wanted to be the boss. And, that's not an option with me. Like, we can be partners, but you ain't the boss.
You had started LightSpeed VT at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're doing well financially.
No.
At
this point?
Yeah.
Fuck no, dude. I was barely getting along. Like she was making fun of me. Matter of fact, when we were getting a divorce, she said, just give me the house. And I said, well, then just give me the business. And she goes, fucking deal. The business wasn't making shit.
Back then. So what year is this? Like 2000? Somewhere around there?
99, 2000. Like
Okay.
right when I started it.
Got it.
I think it was 2001 when we divorced. And I started LightSpeed basically in 99. So So it wasn't doing anything.
So I assume you still have a relationship with your son. So do you talk to her? Does she regret the situation at all?
Thankfully, one is 27 and one is 29 or something like that. People are like, you don't know your own son's age? Fuck no. Like, do you? I know when they're little, but now I don't know. I
have to do the math with my brother.
Yeah, I got to think. But I just call them and say, hey, how old are you? They'll tell me.
Yeah.
But I know one's about 26, 27. One's about 28, 29.
Does the mother regret?
And I don't have to talk to the mother because they're adults.
Got it.
So I talk to them, and I say, on occasion, I'll say, how's your mom doing? Why? Because, she's okay. We don't hate each other, but we don't talk much.
Yeah. And then, so you've been married
She's
twice.
very successful, by the way.
Is she? Okay.
Like, dude, if I would have, if we would have stayed together, I would have had some fucking power in this town. She's got fucking power in this town. Dude.
Really?
She's like one of the bigwigs of the who did Kerkorian own? MGM?
Maybe.
MGM. She was,
she was executive there.
Big executive.
Wow.
And by the way, when we were married, she was a photo girl at the Tropicana.
Wow.
And she worked her way up and then became a casino host, then become, a executive casino host, and then became the vice president of casino host, and then became something else. And dude, she's very successful. And she can like send jets for players.
Yeah. Casino host, that's a good gig. It's a hard gig.
When she used to say, hey, come bring the kids. It's Brandon's birthday or whatever, one of my son's birthday. Come check into the Bellagio. And I'll go check them into the Bellagio because she's comping a room. And then she says, just sign this name if when they come to the door. And like, $1,000 worth of ice cream. Doesn't matter, just scribble. And she's basically comping it all.
Yeah.
To players that she knows personally. And she knows all the big players. So, I mean, dude, she's got some power. But anyway, she wanted to be the boss. I can't have that. So we ended up getting divorced. I don't necessarily need to talk to her anymore because the boys are adults. I talk to them, but not really her. And then
the first two baby mamas, do you have a relationship with them at all?
No.
Okay.
Not really. I mean, again, they're both adults. So I talk to them. I don't talk to the moms.
Yeah.
The moms are like, in relationships.
So 3 with the most recent wife, with your wife
3
now.
with my current wife. Then I met a girl who I didn't necessarily think I was going to get married again, but she was so cool and chill and unlike all my other ones. And she wanted to be married. She wanted to have kids. She wanted to do things. So I'm like, fuck it. I already been divorced. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I get divorced? Shit, I've already done that. No big deal. So I said, I'll fucking marry you. So we married and had 3. And the 3 are beautiful little girls.
You split time between here and Nashville?
Yes.
What was the decision there?
My wife thinks Nashville. She wants to be country.
Yeah.
So she believes down there everyone's going to come around with a peach pie and like fucking be neighborly and shit.
One of my good friends lives there, and I've never been to Nashville.
A lot of nice people.
But the description I've seen, it reminds me of Austin 20 years ago before Austin became what it is now, which is a giant Starbucks. Before Austin became super corporate, that's what Nashville kind of feels like.
Well, they call it Nash Vegas. It's the Vegas of East Coast.
Okay.
And not only that, but it's a good down home town. I mean, like, there's some good old fashioned good people there. Nice people.
Is Tennessee no state income tax?
Correct.
Okay, so you can split time between.
Doesn't matter.
You don't have to worry about it.
That's right.
Like half the people who live here, who have a house here and spend 6 months here and go back to L.A.
Yeah, no, they're both non-taxable states.
Do you host any of the shows there, or is it the office is always here? Like, how does that work?
Well, I mean, I have my studios are here, so when I'm here, I do them in my studio. When I'm there, I don't do them because I'm not there very long.
Okay,
I'm there like a couple weeks out of the year, maybe a month
Nashville.
Collectively. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're still here?
Like my wife's there right now. I have to go down there Friday. I said, well, when are we coming back? She's like, 15th? I'm like, no. She goes, 10th? I'm like, no. She goes, 9th? I'm like, fine. So I'll be down there from the 1st through the 9th. Why? She wants to spend 4th of July there.
Yeah.
And she wants to get, shit done in the house and all that. So I'm like, cool. Because again, I like it, dude. The best barbecued wings ever. Martin's Barbecue with the Alabama white sauce.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you. Killer food down there. Nice people. It's a little humid. I don't really like it. But if it makes her happy, so be it.
I'm with you. I like the dryness here. That's why I love Texas.
Yeah, and by the way, Texas, I've told her maybe we should move there. Why? Dude, you see houses that are $12 million other places that are like $2 million there. And I'm like, fucking, hey, look at that house.
They got some room, man.
And by the way, I like how they run their state. You know, guns, frickin' America, flags.
No state income tax.
You know what I'm saying? Texas.
Football.
Don't mess with Texas.
Football first.
Yeah, I like Texas. I like Florida. You know, it's a little humid there, but
Yeah.
dude, I don't want to say I'm conservative because I'm not really conservative. I'm intelligent. You know,
I think a lot of people outwardly would look at you and say you're conservative.
but I'm not really. Like, ask me some questions about where I stand on things, and you'll be like, well, that's not necessarily conservative. Because I'm not necessarily conservative. I'm common sense. Like, I'm a constitutionalist, if anything. Like, in other words, it doesn't matter what you think. What's the Constitution say? That's what I think.
But that's kind of the definition of conservatism. The Constitution was written in.
I don't give a fuck what it's written in.
1770s.
We all agreed a long time ago. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it.
Well, we didn't agree.
We don't need to agree.
Right.
Our forefathers did.
Correct. They did.
Okay, that's
But
it.
like conserving what our forefathers did is the definition of
And if you
conservatism.
read the Constitution, it's actually a pretty fucking good.
I agree with
document.
you because it creates a quagmire. If in case you have a megalomaniac as president, that's one of the things it stops. People are like,
It's supposed to, but it's not. It doesn't stop it because it's fraudulent. If you think Joe Biden actually won the election, dude, come on. There is guaranteed voter fraud happening
right, but that's
on
not,
both sides.
but that's
By
not,
the way,
that's not the Constitution's fault. If he did,
no,
if it was stolen.
but the Constitution was, you know, ultimately vulnerable because they left little slight ways to modify it.
You're saying through the Constitution he stole the election.
No,
Okay.
if they went by the Constitution, they wouldn't have got the election.
Okay.
You know, dude, Trump was ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And then overnight, Joe, all of mail-in ballots were 100% for Joe. Bullshit.
I see what you're saying. Okay, got it.
And not only that, dude, they've got proof. Well, judges kicked it out of court because the judges are bought and paid for, dude. There are powers that be. At the end of the story, what can we do about it? Nothing. That's why I don't fucking worry about it. Like, Joe, good job, Joe. Go rock, Joe. But Joe's a dumbass. You know, would you rather have Trump? No, I'd rather have a business person that actually gives a fuck about the United States and the people in it, like what appears to be Kristi Noem. The fact that she's also smoking.
That helps.
Dude, it's just a benefit. Why? But she's representing us.
She can distract Putin.
Not only that, she's representing us, bro.
Yeah.
She's representing us. So if the ticket that I would love to see, Trump and Kristi
Interesting.
Noem.
I'm going to tell you, there's one thing
But Trump would probably try to grab her by the pussy.
And there is the clip. One thing, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but DeSantis was an attorney for the State Department in Guantanamo Bay. And
He'd be my second choice.
yeah, I don't think waterboarding is torture. I think waterboarding is enhanced interrogation. If someone had, I don't have a daughter, but if someone had kidnapped my daughter, the idea of using waterboarding in order to get
I'll
information
cut
out
his
of her-
fucking dick off.
Of course.
I don't give a fuck if it's torture or not.
Yeah, but my point is the idea, like when you say that waterboarding or sleep deprivation or playing loud noises is torture, to me, you're disrespecting
Who
John.
said that, though?
We've outlawed those. We can't do those advanced interrogation techniques.
I know, but who's saying that we can't? Is it is it NATO or is it DeSantis?
It's not DeSantis. DeSantis is let me get to my point here. DeSantis was the attorney at Gitmo when this thing was going on, and I prefer having someone who actually knows how the sausage is made when it comes to foreign affairs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's why I like.
Well, he's got
DeSantis.
more experience.
Yes, but he also isn't like an ideologue. He sees how the sausage is made.
He's also not a business person.
Okay, and that's an issue. But I also do like the fact that he was willing. Like, I love the idea that there were mask mandates. He was going to find school systems that actually.
See, that's what I love.
Yes.
That's why he's second. And again, if he ended up president, I'm not mad at all.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not
Yeah.
mad at all. In fact, again, I almost think maybe DeSantis is a better choice. Why? So all of the fucking whack jobs go away. Maybe if he wins, there's not going to be all this whack jobby shit that Trump fucking stirs up. Like, Trump is hated so bad by the left that if he were president again, it's not going to be nice. It's going to be the same old bullshit.
Yeah.
But if DeSantis won, maybe they'd be like, fuck, at least it's not Trump. And everybody's happy. So, like, in that case, I might lean towards DeSantis. But, dude, I think I need a business person in there. And if I have other options, I'd have to hear them. right now, Joe Biden is not an option.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't care if it's a Democrat or Republican, dude. I want to hear where they stand. If someone told me, dude, you know Kristi Noem and Ron DeSantis are Democrats? I don't give a fuck what they are. I'm listening to their thoughts, their opinions, their beliefs, how they run and shit. When COVID was happening, DeSantis said fucking monoclonal antibodies are legal. They were opening up all over the place until the government said you can't use that shit. We'll fucking shut you down. We'll not fund you. You can't use that shit. That's how you know the government's corrupt. But Ron was saying, fuck you, dude. This is helping people. So I like that. Christie's doing the same thing. Trump, however, told everybody that they should get a vaccine. So it's like, Trump ain't that smart.
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people forgot that.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
Yes, a lot of people have forgotten that.
Which just shows that he's fallible, just like everybody else is. Like, dude, listen, it doesn't matter who's president at the end of the day. Look, Joe Biden is president, supposedly. Everyone said if he's president, we're fucked, right? Look at the gas, we're fucked. We're not fucked, dude. I haven't stopped buying gas. Have you?
You were making my point for me. Yeah,
exactly.
That was,
so guess what? Biden didn't fuck us, and Biden didn't help us. So at the end of the day, who gives a fuck?
I heard that there was going to be some insane crash that was going to happen as soon as Joe Biden got elected. And I looked and I'm like, no, I'm still running a business that's doing really well. And
doing well.
Yeah. And so I'm like, to me, if we were going through all these things, obviously in part to get people's attention, and we're doing a YouTube video.
You might be. I'm not.
Okay. Yes.
I'm just answering questions.
He just answered questions. But in addition to that, while we may be doing that, I forgot what my point was. But yeah, going back to what I was saying before, there's a lot of, I would wish better than any of these candidates. I think there are better people to be any of these candidates. The problem is the sifting process for you to get to this point, you have to give up so much of yourself to so many people that once you get to the top, like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton are great examples. They did favors, and people did favors for them for so long that once they got to the top, there was nothing left. There was no integrity left. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Like listening to Hillary Clinton talk about global warming while sitting on the board at Walmart, like that kind of stuff,
and taking private jets.
Exactly. That's my point. There's nothing left once they. But it selects. It's almost like saying a person who could be a Colombian crime lord, Colombian cartel boss, but he's not a sociopath. No, that job selects for sociopaths. And so the problem is when we talk about people when they get to this level of government, all the people they have to go around and beat. There has to be some element of narcissism to get to that point. And so you're going to have flawed individuals that get there. Whereas the guy you want to be president, he doesn't want to be president. He just wants to go home to his family. And when people break into his house, he's the first guy down there with a shotgun. So he's the guy you want to be president, but he doesn't want to be president. And so that ends up being the problem. You see what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah. You didn't tell me this before, but I have to ask you this. You said one time you had a threesome?
Yeah.
What? Go in.
No.
I think your audience would like to hear this. One time Bradley had a threesome? No?
Maybe once.
Once?
I know for sure once. Again, it wasn't the best of it.
What happened?
Well, it's irrelevant.
The
answer would be yes, I have. I didn't necessarily, I would prefer not to do them. One girl is fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't need more than one. Now, again, if I were single and, the two of them wanted to do it, would I decline? Fuck no. But at the end of the day, if I had my preference, and I do,
yeah,
I want to focus on one.
Yes.
I want to freaking spend all my time on one. And by the way, when I spend all my time on one, that one's a lot happier. And when I'm done, I don't really have the energy for another one.
Okay.
So what do? You freaking drill one out real good, and then you fucking leave the other one hanging? That ain't for a good reputation. So it's like, oh, is that why you don't like them? Because you can't satisfy them all? No, I mean, there's toys and all kinds of fucking shit. I prefer to focus on one. That's all. That's
for sure.
Like, dude, am I the only dude in the world that fucking would prefer one over multiple?
A lot of guys feel the same way you do.
Oh, good.
Yes, well, they definitely do. I would just please both of them. That's just me. But yeah, I totally.
Well, dude, you like that?
Yeah.
Or I have a little camera guy. He should have came here, but he's like, I don't know. Let's say 5'7".
Yeah.
I don't even know. 5'6" maybe. He said the other day, dude, people in Vegas is fucked up. I said, why is that? He says, dude, right now you have to have the 3 6s. I said, what?
6-pack abs, 6 feet tall, and make 6 figures a year.
No.
6
feet, 6 figures and 6 inches.
Okay, got it.
And I'm like, what's the problem?
There we go.
Well, the problem is you ain't 6 feet.
Yeah.
You don't make 6 figures, and you ain't got 6 inches.
Yeah.
Well, dude, hey, what do you do? What do you do?
You can break your legs and get that height surgery.
No, you stop believing the fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. There are girls that like little ass dicks and little ass dudes. There's girls that will fucking marry broke people and date broke people, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. Because again, the truth is, women, if you have a choice, and you do, why choose somebody broke? Now, you know who gets pissed when I say that? Broke fucking people.
Of course.
Okay, well, it doesn't, I'm not saying broke people are bad. I'm saying if you had a choice, why not fucking choose somebody that can take you in private jets and fucking fly you around? Oh, they're gold digging bitches. No, that would make them smart. Why? Well, I'm going to choose who I want. Do I want some big, nasty, fat girl with a dried up clam that fucking smells like fucking, a trash can?
Yeah, this is definitely getting clipped. This is incredible.
Do I?
Keep going. Of course not.
Of course not. What do I want? If you had my choice, I'd want boom. Now again, some people like, big trash can, nastiness. Okay, I don't though. So if I had my choice, I'm gonna pick a beautiful heart and soul.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pick all the best of the things that I like. Well, I like private jets. I like Ferraris. I like eating out whenever I want and eating what I want. I like the finer things in life.
Yeah.
You know that costs money, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so if I'm educating or training or coaching a female, and she says, Brad, who should I pick? Well, pick someone with money.
That makes sense, yeah.
Pick someone with money. Now, they always act like you can't have money and be a good dude. Well, what about the poor guys? It's a good dude. Aren't there any good rich people? That's what they're trying to make you believe, that there's no good rich people.
Right.
All the rich guys out there are going to use you and abuse you. You need to find somebody broke. No, the common sense would tell you, if you're looking for somebody, start with some standards, like they have money. That's a standard. They don't beat me. That's a standard.
Yes.
They're kind to not only me, but to people. Like, I'm a kind dude. Like, I'm not a mean dude. There's standards. Like, raise your fucking standards, folks. Like, why am I a bad guy? Because I think women should raise their standards.
So we have a show called Access Vegas. We'd love to have you as a guest sometime. It's me and 10 girls, me and Rollo and like 10 girls.
Oh, I'd love it.
We do a show. Dude, if you want to come tomorrow night, you're welcome to come on. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m. So what we'll talk about is the same thing you said. So Mia Khalifa, former porn star, she's like, it's really weird that men want to date younger women because she's not younger anymore. What you said was men will be like, when you say you should date someone who's wealthy, who doesn't like that? Broke people.
Right.
Who doesn't like it when you say men should date younger women? Older women. So it's the same kind of thing.
I don't
you're
think
talking
that's
about.
the case, though. I think men should date what they prefer.
No, I understand what you're saying, but when you say, so look, for instance, if you date someone,
I personally would prefer younger than older.
yeah, but also from a mathematical standpoint, you have a longer reproductive career with a woman who's younger.
Yeah, well, it ain't about that. It's about look at their skin and look at their body and look at and have they been ran through or not? Like,
I don't know if you could look and see if they're ran through, but you can kind of tell.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, again, I can tell.
You have got to come on the show tomorrow night then.
Dude,
If
I
that's the
can
case,
tell.
I want to have Brad. Which one was ran through? Can you tell us?
Listen, let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Who walks in to a grocery store looking for the oldest beat up brown
Oh,
banana
totally
they can
agree.
find?
Totally agree. But the point is, the beat up brown bananas, then they're the ones who are complaining.
Right, and again, it's like, look. I understand that,
Mm-hmm.
right? I understand that. Like, there's women that prefer black guys.
Yeah.
I'm not black. I can't compete with that. Okay, good. Poor Brad. Go find someone who doesn't like black guys. Like, quit fucking bitching
Yeah.
about what people like and go find what you like. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, both sides should not feel victimized. is what
I
you're
don't
saying.
feel victimized. If you
Exactly.
like a black dude, good for you. I'm looking for
Yeah.
someone who prefers me.
Yes.
Okay, so guess what? If you don't prefer me, you don't prefer me, you don't prefer me. I'm not mad at the black people. I'm not mad at the girl for liking someone that I'm not. I'm going to go find someone who likes me.
Yeah.
And I hope to find them. And if nobody likes me, then I got to go fucking work on me.
Work on myself, exactly. Yeah, that I said this before. It's like I can't. If I wanted to go play small forward for the Lakers, I'm not 6'8". I don't have a 42-inch vertical. So I can't sue the Lakers for discrimination because they didn't let me play small forward.
Well, you could.
You could, but you wouldn't win. Yeah. No, but you understand what I'm saying. It's like, I don't feel victimized. I just need to find something that I'm good at. And I live amongst the wealthiest humans who have ever lived on this planet, amongst the people who have the most access to technology and information and the most access to healthcare of any human that's ever lived on this planet. And I have the freedom to do anything I want as a living if I want to be a copywriter. Mm-hmm. See, you agree with me, right? You don't
really have the freedom you think you do.
Well, I think we have a lot of freedom. If I wanted to become a copywriter tomorrow,
if I wanted to start freedom. You don't have the freedom you think you do.
I think you have a lot more freedom than our ancestors did in the 1850s. I think we have more freedom than they did.
Do you have to wear a seatbelt?
Yeah, you do. But you have to. You could hide it. You could pretend not to wear a seatbelt.
Legally,
you're supposed to wear a seatbelt.
That's not free.
You get to choose and pick and choose what you think is freedom, right?
No, freedom is like the man walking with the Holy Spirit doesn't need the law.
Okay, so I think we're bordering on chaos and anarchy at that point. I think there's degrees of freedom.
Good people don't need laws. I don't need a law.
Okay, I got you.
You will not. I don't need laws that says I can't steal, I can't harm, I can't do bad shit.
But the laws aren't for you, and those laws protect you.
But if everyone was like that, we wouldn't need laws. Why? Because everybody's a fucking kind human being looking to help other people.
You think everyone's like that? I mean, some people are born sociopaths.
Yeah, there's some bad people out there. So again, that's why laws have to be made.
Yeah.
But I don't need laws.
Well, they weren't written for you either, right? The laws were written to protect you.
A seatbelt, who's that written for?
For the person who accidentally gets into a crash. I mean, someone could run into you.
So what?
Then you end up. What are you talking about?
So what? Well, you're going to get hurt. I might not. You know, seatbelts have killed people before.
Yeah.
Okay, and then no seatbelts have killed people before.
On average, they've saved more people than they've killed, though.
So when they say you must wear a seatbelt, well, then your freedoms are now gone in that case because you don't get a choice. Hey, wearing a helmet. Some states say you don't have to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Some states say you do. Now, what would you rather think? What do you think safer, wearing a helmet or wearing a seatbelt?
Well, the legislature, you could vote them out if you didn't like what they were saying.
Supposedly.
Well, I mean, we have state income tax in some places and no state income tax in others, and we have open carry laws in some states and no open carry laws in others because we do get to vote in our politicians to some extent. Like, I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. What I'm saying is freedom. Obviously, at some point, I have the right to express myself and swing my fists in any direction I want up till I get to your face. Then I don't get to swing anymore.
Why?
You see what I'm saying? Because then I'm impinging on your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Oh.
I can't just hit you because that's what it says in the preamble of the Constitution.
Nor should you be able to.
Preamble of the Declaration of Independence. So that's what I'm saying. It's like there are degrees of freedom, but like we go back to the original point. At some point, we can't. If we're skeptical on everything, then there is no Einstein. There was no Newton. You didn't meet Newton. Maybe there's no gravity. If we get to that point, it's like then we can't develop things. There is no transistor. There are no TVs. We don't get like at some point we have to believe in something, or else we don't ever build anything. You see what I'm saying?
Kinda. But again, if there's a TV, you can't deny it's right there.
Right, but in order for the guy, by the way, he was a horrible eugenicist who created the transistor back in 1947, I believe. In order for that guy to do that, he had to understand the photoelectric effect and he had to understand material physics. He learned those things from things he learned previously. And you would say, some skeptical person would be like, all that shit you learned in material physics, who'd you learn that from? You weren't there. You don't meet James Clerk Maxwell. You don't know Michael Faraday, blah, blah, blah. At some point, you have to believe in something or we can't progress.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? That's what my point is. So
I believe that the doctors aren't out to kill you. I believe doctors are being told what they were told in schools, and they believe it.
But you don't believe all doctors are out to kill you, do you?
No.
Okay.
I believe they were told and sold whatever it is they were told and sold, and they actually believe that they're trying to help.
Yes.
I believe doctors try to help people, but when you trace it all the way back to the beginning. I also believe that the Rockefellers, who owned the petroleum, knew that these fucking petroleum-based medicines would make them zillionaires beyond zillionaires, and they're the ones that started, basically teaching the doctors how to prescribe the medicine and that the medicine. And if you didn't do it, you're in trouble. Look at some doctors that didn't agree with COVID. The fucking medical boards were all over them. So again, there's somebody controlling that shit, and that's all I'm saying. So do I think doctors are evil? No. Do I think doctors are corrupt? Some. Do I think that there's a higher world that's feeding the doctors? Yeah, I do.
I think that there are people that are controlled, but I don't know if that it's one group. And I think a lot of what they do comes from negligence. Just because working for the federal government, a lot of bad things happen because people were lazy, not because they were evil.
Agreed.
That's what that. So when you
I
say,
don't think people are evil. I think most people are good.
you know what, I would really love for you to read this book. It's called Conquering the Sociopath Next Door by Dr. Martha Stout. And it talks about sociopathy. And in the end of the book, they go over this thing called corporate sociopathy, which is the concept that if I take a bunch of empathetic human beings and put them in a corporate environment, because they are all incentivized to benefit the shareholder, they all to collectively act with no empathy, and therefore collectively they are a sociopath. Individually, they still love their family, go to church and walk their dog, but collectively they're only interested in profit. And when they aren't interested in profit, then they're fired or removed from the board or removed from their job as an executive. So they're incentivized to only be motivated by profit. And so because of that, you get these large organizations filled with empathetic people that act individually as sociopaths. You see what I'm saying? I love this hypothesis. I haven't seen it falsified. I actually think that is more likely what's going on than this idea of a cabal of people who drink baby blood. That's, to me, that seems a little bit more realistic. Am I being naive, Brad?
No. Again, that's just what you believe. But to me, like when you start getting into that weird shit, like child pedophilia, code words, symbolism.
Yeah.
Dude, it's right there in front of our face. I do believe that there is a elite child pedophile ring that it's, and by the way, everyone knows it. It's known. They'll tell you, well, it's $1 trillion industry. Well, how the fuck? How do you measure that?
Right.
And why aren't you stopping people when you see that?
Yeah.
How are you measuring that?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, one time someone said 92% of men have shit stains in their underwear. I'm like, first of all,
How would you know that?
who the fuck counted? That's what
Yeah.
I want to know. Who counted that?
Yeah.
Number two, how do you get a promotion from that job?
Yeah, that's not the job I'd want.
But still, 92%. Listen, dude, at the end of the day, 72% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
I don't know if that's accurate, but that's
is.
made up on the spot.
Not only that, 10 out of 7 people don't understand fractions.
That's 10 out of 7. Yeah, that would be accurate. Selfishly, I want to ask you a couple of questions because in being the CEO of my company, I will tell you the single hardest thing that I've had to deal with is maintaining and training and make a sales team.
Yeah.
Setters and closers. I imagine you have some for LightSpeed VT. How big is your sales team, if you can talk about it?
It depends on if you're counting 1099s and everybody.
Yeah.
Because I have a kind of an affiliate army that's pretty big.
Yeah.
But I'd say like 8 internal.
8. Okay, that's about what we have.
Yeah.
Curious, what are the things that you would, other people watching this, that you would give as pieces of advice to maintain a sales team? For instance, we found that it's a bit harder for us to maintain setters than closers because the outbound responsibilities make it so that we burn through them quicker. And then with closers, there's points where they're on a roll and then they may lose motivation and gain motivation. What are some of the things that you've learned as far as maintaining a sales team?
Well, I think, what's important about maintaining a sales team is the ability to get rid of the turkeys. If you want to attract stallions don't run with turkeys. And a lot of people are afraid to get rid of the turkeys because they're looking for stallions, but they're not making room for stallions.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, don't be afraid of getting rid of the dipshits. That's number one. Because if I hired you and brought you in and you happen to be a stallion and you see a big circus, you see a bunch of fucking average ass dickheads, what would you think?
Well, my first thought would be those leads are being wasted on them, and those could be my leads that I could be using.
You would eventually leave me.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because, dude, I'm bringing a stallion around turkeys, and turkeys and stallions, they don't go together.
Yeah.
You ever see stallions running across the plain? You ever see the turkeys in between their feet?
Right. They don't.
That's because there aren't any. They don't run with turkeys. So number one, get rid of the average, and you're going to attract the better. And so you constantly have to fucking make sure that you're grooming out the bottom. Set your standards and hold them accountable. That's number one. Number two, I would say, ultimately they like compensation, right? Clear processes, meaning clarity. So compensation, clarity, and then culture. And what I mean by clarity is there's a process. There's a process.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, they don't have processes figured out. So where it's like they just want you to sell shit. So when you got a sales team and, you're like, the setters are higher turnover than the closers, who makes more money?
The closers.
Well, then that's fucking probably the reason why you have a higher turnover. Why? Well, pay your fucking setters more, and I'll bet you it slows down. Why? People quit because they're not very successful.
Yeah.
So train them better, make them more successful, give them a better pay plan, show them a direct path to closers. Hey, you're a setter now, but you're going to be a closer soon.
Yeah, that's what we've done. We've made them closers. I'm curious, when the training, we use Cole Gordon, is there anybody in particular, any techniques that you use as far as your training?
For what?
If you have someone you want to train to be better at closing.
Well, again, I mean,
are you training them? Like, how are they being trained?
Well, personally, I do train people, but the right way to train somebody is to make sure that you just include 4 key ingredients. Number 1, good content, right? You got to know the right way to do it in the first place. A lot of people, they don't have good content. Number 2.
Are you talking about your stuff, your reels and stuff like that to get the leads in?
Leads? What are you talking about? You're talking about training, aren't you?
Yeah, sorry. When you say good content,
good content, the right way to do it in the first place.
Okay, got it.
If I'm going to train you how to close a deal and I don't know how to close a deal and I'm telling you how to close a deal and I've never closed a deal and my content might be shit. Well, you got to have the right way to do it in the first place, which is good content.
Yeah.
You have to have good information. Number 2, you have to have repetition. Most people miss that. Number 3, you have to have practice. Most people miss that. Number 4, you have to have accountability. So without these things, you don't have a training program. You have an exposure program. And most companies are exposing their people, especially sales. They're exposing people and then they don't understand why they're not learning. Well, because you don't learn, without those 4 things. That's why if you look at the military, how much repetition was involved?
Tons, yeah.
How much practice was involved?
That's all
How
we
much
did.
accountability was there?
That's why you get a court-martial.
Okay, so you get good content, repetition, practice, and accountability. That's training.
Yeah.
We're not training our salespeople. We're exposing them.
We're
We're exposing them to good information, and they think, why aren't they working? Because you're not training them. You need to train them. And so our platform, by the way, allows them to be trained, tracked, measured, and monitored through a technology which allows you to fucking scale and do it with ease. So again, you can do it without a system like mine, but it's just fucking labor intensive and much more costly. So you take and you leverage technology. That's it. When you scale a business, there's only 2 ways to scale: people and technology. So you take a technology like LightSpeed VT and you say, I want to build a training system that allows me to create, deliver, track, and measure interactive content that allows me to develop people without having to say a word. So now the system doesn't train them completely.
Yeah.
It brings them up to speed. So by the time you talk to them, they're already filtered out the wikis. They've already filtered out the dipshits. You bring in 1,000 people and your system narrows it down to fucking 80. And now like your stallions are now dealing with stallions.
Does LightSpeed VT is that part of the system to narrow down which ones that
you do that through content?
Okay.
So like, for example, if you wanted a job at LightSpeed VT, I give you a username and password. You can make it on my website.
Yeah.
So you make a username and password and it pops up and it says, hey, how you doing, man? Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you think it's okay to drink alcohol as long as you're not drunk? And you're like, yeah, as long as you're not drunk. Okay, now again, that's an example just to show my point. I'm not hiring anybody that fucking hits that.
Yeah.
So now 1 million people hit that button. I don't even talk to you again. Why? Because the content basically leads you down. We'll talk. We'll call you. But we're not calling you. Guess what? If you'd have picked different answers, if you'd have went a different path, it would have connected you with my fucking...
That's crazy. We just started doing exactly what you said.
Okay.
Yeah, we just recently started doing that. And then we're going to Cole Gordon seminar back in Cancun.
That's content, by the way.
Yeah. So when you said content, this is what I think. And I think it's a little different because a lot of your Instagram content is not directly related to LightSpeed VT, whereas almost all my content is almost, it's either directly related or somewhat related to Men of Action.
Yeah.
So my content, I feel the responsibility for my closers to get laydowns because they're fans of me enough to join the program. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So while I want them to do, I want them to do as well as they can as far as being salesmen, I also at some point need for them to be like, I just want to join because I'm a fan of Michael. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So both things I feel are my responsibility. So when I say content, that's what I mean by content. I got an interview with Brad Lee. Oh man, I fucking love Brad Lee. Now I want to join Men of Action. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, I love that. Last thing I actually want to talk to you about is gratitude, man. This is the last thing we talked about last time, but I feel like it is the single most important thing as far as like being grounded, causing me to not compare myself to other people. You notice all the guys I told you about, like you guys are all doing better than me, and I'm fully aware of it, and I know nothing but admiration for all of you, and it's done nothing but pull me up. I text you the first time we did, was it 200 grand a month? I can't remember, but I text you and I said thank you. Do you remember this? Yeah,
I remember a text something like that.
Yeah. And now we're doing 600. And I remember saying I followed.
See, now you know call.
Huh? What do you mean?
You called me at 2, but when you're at 6, fuck Brad.
But not only did I go see you in Frisco, but then I invited you on my show, and I'm telling you now. So thank you. But like, you guys are an inspiration. Seeing someone do it made it easier for me. I look at you guys almost like older frat brothers or older siblings or upperclassmen, right? And so that's one of the things that I've learned. But like one of the things that keeps me humble and I never feel like I'm chasing, and I love every minute of this journey, is the gratitude that I get to do. I get to talk on a microphone for a living. Holy shit. I can't imagine that. When I think about going through survival school or being in a burning fucking airplane in Abu Dhabi, compared to that, this is a dream. I can't believe I get to do this. My girlfriend is the hottest woman I've ever seen in my entire life. I live in an apartment exactly where I've always wanted to live. Everything I always wanted to do, I get to do, and I have gratitude for it. And I look at other people, like, I'm not making $3 million a month like Wes, but I don't in any point feel any level of envy. I'm just like so happy for Wes, and then I want to learn what he's doing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Can you talk about how gratitude affects you, and was it part of how you were able to help grow LightSpeed VT into something so big?
I mean, ultimately, yes. I think gratitude lends itself to everything in your life successful, if you're doing it right. But to me, gratitude stems from, ultimately perspective. So as an example, and I've said this before, matter of fact, this video is probably the most viral video I've ever done, which is, if I gave you like $10 million, how would you feel? And people say, oh, I'd feel incredible. They would be amazing. No one could ruin my day. It'd be so freaking unbelievable. Nothing would bother me. And I say, great. So would you take the 10 million if you couldn't wake up tomorrow? People are like, well, of course not. So you realize that waking up is worth more than $10 million. They're like, oh yeah, I guess it is. I believe that. So when I wake up in the morning, I have the advantage over most people because I'm immediately that grateful. I've trained my brain to do it, by the way. So it wasn't overnight. But now, dude, if you really think about what I just said, waking up is worth more than 10 million. And it's probably worth more than 100 million. It might be worth more than $1 billion. It is to me. I'd rather wake up tomorrow than get $1 billion. So when I wake up, I'm acting as if somebody just gave me something that valuable.
Yeah.
And the world changes. Everything changes. That's why, again, like everything changes. Like your challenges and problems become opportunities and opportunities. Again, opportunities are everywhere, but people wake up all bummed out and pissed off because they got to pay their rent and they don't have it. And now they're bummed and they're pissed and they're mad at the president and they're mad at their girlfriend and they're mad at somebody else and they're blaming everybody else. Why? Because they're not grateful they woke the fuck up. You get to figure out how to pay your rent. And by the way, I've been homeless. People, oh, you've never been homeless, Brad. It's easy for you to say. You're rich. It's easy for you to say.
You were selling cars. You said you slept in your car at one point.
Oh,
Is that
I've
right?
slept in my car many times. One time we were in a T-top in California and the fucking police helicopter came around with the spotlight and fucking cops roll up. They wake us up, tell us to move. We're like, whoa, okay. And his name was Richard Ramirez.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah.
He was walking.
This is the 90s.
He was in the fucking area.
Dude, you're in Riverside. God
yeah,
damn.
and I'm sleeping in a fucking car with T-tops. So again, I've been homeless. I've been all kinds of shit, dude. I dropped out of fucking school in the 11th grade. Ran off. Got kicked out of my house. I never should have been successful. But the gratitude, I didn't learn that till 40 years old. But it's a hack that I share with people because if you just stop trying to fucking think, man, and just realize there's a difference. If you get to wake up in the morning, you should act as if you got something extremely valuable. And if you do and you go click and your mind goes click, thank God, thank whoever, thank God I get another day. Everything else is easy. I always say there's no such thing as a bad day. The question is how good will it get? But it's not bad unless you don't wake up right?
Yeah.
If I don't wake up, that's a bad day. If I wake up, it's a good day. Now, it might turn into a bad day because I die. But in other words, if you're alive, man, dude, be extremely grateful, and your perspective shifts to opportunity and optimism. And if you just do that the rest of your life, even if you don't make another dime, even if you don't do anything better, if you just think more positively,
Yeah.
your life is better and you will fucking love it.
Your experience is better and your performance is better. Yeah, and there's plenty of science behind that. Absolutely. Definitely. Way better way to live my life. I think it took my dad dying in order for me to come to that realization. A drunk driver killed my dad in like 2006, and it was just one of these things where like let go, and you kind of come to that realization, like all the other things you have to be grateful for. And yeah, I mean, we get to do what we want to do for a living. That's pretty amazing.
Well, I don't, but you do.
You don't?
No.
What do you mean? What do you want to do for a living?
Act.
You want to be an actor?
Wouldn't it be the best?
It's pretty stressful. I did it for a while.
It's either that or rock star. No, I'm talking about A-list shit. Brad Pitt type shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work.
Dude, Leonardo DiCaprio type
Yeah?
shit. Like,
Okay.
oh, fuck, dude. That would be just awesome.
All right, we're
Go
gonna
get $50 million. You show up on a movie set as the fucking star. You fucking make some kick-ass movie, and then you're done. You make $50 million. Like, dude, I started getting $50,000 a speech.
Yeah.
Why? Because number one, social media, but number one, because I asked for it.
Yeah.
I valued my time more than 10,000. So people are like, well, I only get 10,000. How do I get 50,000? Quit asking for 10. Well, I need it. Right. So you're willing to trade you for 10 grand. That's why you're getting 10 grand. I used to get 10 grand. Well, actually I didn't, because I started at 25. The guy that told me was getting 10. And I said, I'll get 25. He says, you can't just start at 25. And so when someone called me and they said, hey, I want you to come do this, da-da-da-da, how much would you charge? I said, 25. They said, boom. I thought, I should have done 50. But I didn't. I thought 25, wow, that's fucking wonderful. And then one day I just said, I'm going to go to 50. And I started saying 50, and guess what I started getting?
50.
50. And now I'm going to go to 100 January 1.
There
Why?
you go.
Why? Because, number one, if you don't want me there, right, I can tell. How? You don't want to give me 100 grand.
Yeah.
Well, what if I don't have it? Dude, I can pro bono shit. I didn't charge Ryan Stewman a fucking dime to go out there. I don't charge my friends and, connections. Like, if Andy Frisella called me and said, dude, I'm having this thing. I want you to fly out here. Fuck yeah, I'll go do it. I ain't charging him. But, Joe Blow, random dude that wants me to come in there and drop bombs on their audience. To me, I've got family, I've got business, I've got things to do, man. I don't have time to fucking fly out there and walk in there and entertain your audience. I mean, I'd love to if I had nothing to do, but I do have something to do. Spend time with family to me is very valuable. Time is very valuable to me. It wasn't always that way. So that's why I say, you want me to go out there? Give me 50 G's.
Yeah.
And guess what? I started getting 50 G's. And I'll bet you when I go to 100, I'll start getting 100. And when people say, well, how'd you get to 100? I asked for it.
You asked for it.
I asked for it. That's the secret in life, guys. Ask for what you want. Quit fucking making assumptions and raise your self-worth. Raise the value you have for time.
And get that box of chocolates too.
What are you talking about?
You $50,000 in a box of chocolates?
Oh, again, that's what I heard him say. I text Tristan and I said, so what do we got to do, bro? 50 grand? I'll show you my text to him.
Yeah.
I said, what do you got to do? 50 grand? He ain't answered yet.
Yeah.
But like if Tate said, yeah, come over, dude. 50 grand, fuck, I'll do it.
Really? Okay.
If I'll fucking give him 50
Yeah.
G's. Fuck, it'll help me like a motherfucker. You
Yeah,
kidding
of
me?
course. Agreed.
So I'll pay him 50 G's. I'll go to Romania. Fucking, I'll interview his ass, and it'll be fun. And I'll bet you it'll be the best interview.
Yeah.
Best interview to date. And I'm not his enemy. Like, in other words, I'm not looking to set his ass up.
Yeah.
I'm looking to find out, what the fuck did you do, bro? How did you do that? Number one. Number two, I would just have so many questions that I think everybody in the world, real people, want to know. Not anything about, are you really trafficking people, Andrew? Like, dude, you got to be an idiot if you think that's the truth. You know what I think's the truth with their little bullshit? Number one, people always try to, claw when people have money.
Yeah.
So there could be some people lying.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
And number two, you don't know what the laws are. Like, for example, if some girl said, yeah, I'll fly to wherever, Bucharest or whatever. I'll fly there and I'll be with the guy. And, because Andrew basically was running a fucking phone room. So You know, in a lot of those cases, the girls will also fuck. Just like the titty bars here, bro. When I say titty bar, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Strip club. You don't think they're doing shit in the VIP room at a strip club?
Well, I think what you're talking about specifically this is he was charged with something called the lover boy method, where he was charged with telling these girls that he was going to marry them or being in a long-term relationship and didn't do that. And I was like, you can go to jail for that?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, it might be some law we're not aware of.
Dude, like, can you imagine how many fucking Marines and off-duty, like, sailors would go to fucking prison for lying to a girl about having a long-term relationship in order to have sex? That's against the law now?
Yeah.
I thought, bro, having game is against the law now, I guess.
Yeah, so I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Like, he might have had some girl fly somewhere and do something on their own accord, and then they're saying that technically is trafficking. Well, I mean, technically, is it trafficking? Well, technically it is, but it wasn't. Oh, well, let's get him technically then. People do that.
Yeah.
So again, I wish him the best. I don't know if it comes out that he's guilty. Do I think he's guilty? I'd have to study the evidence, dude. I don't know. But
Yeah.
but if he turns out to where he was trafficking humans, my mind would be blown. Why would the fuck he do that? But I've seen people do stupid shit.
Yeah.
You know, like look at Aaron Hernandez from the was it the Giants, the
From the
football player?
Patriots. Yeah.
Like, dude, he had life made. Why is he fucking around? That's stupid. But he did it. Okay, damn, that's crazy. The Menendez brothers, they killed their parents. Why? Well, they were being, raped their whole life by their dad or something. That's understandable. I don't think they should have went to jail for murdering their parents. Why? You shouldn't have been fucking your kids.
Yeah.
That's justifiable. Don't fuck your kids. You don't have to worry about murder. They murdered you for no reason. They'll go to prison. They murdered you because you were fucking them.
Yeah.
And by the way, you should have been murdered. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, some people will be like, "Oh, it's not fair, Brad." Listen, I'm not the fairest guy in the world. I'm the nicest guy in the world.
That's Brad.
I'm kind.
He's the kindest, nicest guy in the whole world.
Dude, I'm kind. I would say that's the word that describes me
agree.
best. I don't want anybody to be hurt for any reason other than people that should be hurt.
Yeah.
You hurt children. I don't think there should be, room for you here. Don't hurt children. Don't, protect women. Protect weaker people. Protect people that can't protect themselves. Like, dude, just good fucking old-fashioned common sense. Be a nice person. If everybody would just do that, how much better would this world be instantly?
Yeah.
But it's not realistic. So what do? Try to like go look in the mirror, do what you can do, and that's all you can do. Do the best you can. I don't worry about other people so much. Unless you come in my house, come in my house. Watch what happens.
I would bring you chocolates, bro. I would, I was no way.
I know, but I mean, like, if someone broke into
for
my
sure.
house,
I know what you mean.
Dude, if someone broke into my house, I'm not sitting there going, "I'm kind."
Yeah.
I'm going to assume you're there to fucking hurt me, and I'm going to take action.
Did you, you know who Mike Rashid is? Mike Rashid?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mike Rashid, this is, he's living in Glendale or somewhere near Scottsdale. And guy, meth head is in his garage. And he pulls up on him and he goes, "Hey man, what are you doing in this garage?" He doesn't say it says garage. He goes, "Oh, I know the owner. And he goes, and he starts laughing. He pulls his gun out. He's on his property. The guy runs into his house. His wife and child are in the house. He's like, he starts firing. He shoots the guy. Guy goes up to the second floor, jumps off the balcony. He looks down and the guy's gone. He runs off and then eventually dies later. Mike Rashid is charged with manslaughter. Instead of dealing with the case, he runs. There's another charge that happened, so he's going to deal with both charges at the same time. He runs for 8 years. He becomes a big social media influencer during that 8-year period. At the end of it, during that time period, Arizona adopted castle doctrine. So when he finally has to face that manslaughter charge, they throw it out. If he didn't run, 15 years in jail, maybe 20.
Damn.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's really crazy. He ran, and it ended up working out for him. And he became a huge influencer while he was a fugitive.
That's a good story. I
That's
didn't know
a great story.
that.
Yeah.
I met him. He seems cool. I didn't know that was a story, though.
Incredible story.
But again, who can blame the guy?
Yeah.
Now, some people say, well, it was manslaughter because he was running and he shot at him.
He shot him in the back.
I know, but again, like the guy was running. You were in no danger. I kind of agree, like a little bit. Like, listen, if I pointed a gun and you were in my house and you started running out of my house, I'm not going to shoot you because as a consequence for being in my house. If you're running, I'll shoot you as if you're coming.
Yeah.
Like, don't come in my house.
But his wife and kids were upstairs. So
Yeah,
when
yeah.
the
No,
goes
I don't blame the
upstairs-
guy, dude.
Yeah, of course.
I might have done the same
and the
fucking thing.
police actually said it at the time. It's like every one of us would have done the same thing you did.
I might have done the same thing. But again, I don't know the facts of the thing. But if someone's running from you,
Yeah.
I don't think you should shoot them.
Yeah. You should-
Unless they're running towards your kids and they got a knife and like, again, what's the circumstances? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would say, just meeting them, I'm down with old Mike Rashid.
we got to get Mike on your show. We got to get Rollo on your show for sure.
Love to have them both.
And Zerka. I think we're going to get Zerka on your show too.
Who's Zerka?
Zerka is this flat earther who
He believes the Earth is flat.
yeah, 100% he does. Yeah, and he's already
Wouldn't
thrown
you
down
shit
a
if you
challenge.
find out it is?
Huh?
Wouldn't you shit?
I'd be pretty surprised, but you'd have to show me evidence. Like what would happen is, in order for the Earth to be flat,
I'd want to go to the edge.
right? But things would have to start breaking down. Like there would have to be, like for instance, there's what's it called? The thing that measures was the spin. I forgot what it's called, but we can see that that the Earth every hour it changes every 15 degrees. Also, because you can stand in 3 points in the southern hemisphere and see the Southern Cross to the south, the Earth is round. You can prove it's round. But these guys, they say things like, well, all the pictures from space are fake, and you see the rainbow, how it's curved. That's because we live under a dome, and they think that's evidence. But it's like you, as someone who doesn't believe the moon landing is real, listen to that, and you're like, oh, that's silly. But that's what both of you sound like to me, because the moon landing did happen. So it's
How do you know?
Again, there's no. I have looked
You
at
weren't
the
even
evidence.
born then.
I looked at the evidence on both sides, and the idea that
You've decided.
I looked at the evidence, and the preponderance of evidence would indicate to me we did land on the moon.
Okay, and again,
We faked it 6 times. That's what you're saying.
do you 100%?
Okay. I don't think we
I
faked
don't
it.
believe we ever landed on the moon.
But yeah,
Not based on the shit I saw. Now again, I'm no astrophysicist.
yeah.
You might be. So hey, maybe you know something I don't. Who knows? All I know is looking at the video, understanding 1969, they didn't even have a goddamn VCR.
I watched
and how are we watching video from the fucking moon?
Because
You don't
beamed
even
up.
have the fucking ability to do it now, like fucking grainy footage from security cameras.
because-
now we got clear footage from the fucking moon. Bullshit.
It's beamed up through the service module.
Yeah, sure it does.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like, no, we had a camera and it beamed up the footage to the service module when it took off. That's why you're seeing it. It didn't beam it back to Houston. It just beamed it up to the service module. We understood UHF technology in 1969. We were able to do that. Otherwise, how are we able to like broadcast the press? In
Well, there's
1969,
a lot of questions that if you Google the whole thing, and there's a lot of questions that make you go, that is true. How,
I just
how
said,
about that?
but you
Like,
watch.
why don't you ever see, from space, stars? Like when you're out in space, you don't see stars.
Yeah, no,
How come?
No, it's because in those videos they're using. So right now the sensor on this camera is bigger than any sensor that we had back then. So the sensors on the camera, you know what ISO is? You ever on a camera,
Sure.
right? So the ISO, the ability, a really good camera. You ever watch Game of Thrones? There's these like these shots in really shitty light where you can see like the shadow on one side of his face and the light on the other side of his face. Old cameras couldn't do that. You could either show the light side or the dark side, right? Does that make sense? We didn't have the ability to do that back then. So when you
But we had the ability to go to the moon.
yeah, because the ISO, because remember what I said before? There's a material physics, there's material physics, and then there's like computational power. The material physics part, we understood. We understood physics back then. We understood thermodynamics. We understood orbital dynamics back then, just the same as we do now. What we didn't have is we didn't have the computing firepower back then.
But did we understand that the polyunsaturated hydrocarbons
Of the medulla oblongata?
Yeah.
bro.
Did we know that?
That what a great way to
Did we
end.
know that back then?
We didn't know that back then, bro.
But we know it now.
It's funny because every time you say it, it's the same thing.
Well, that's the only thing I know.
It's fucking
Those are my
hilarious.
big words.
Oh man, we did 3 hours and 38 minutes with Bradley. It's incredible.
Do you do these long ass?
Yeah, Brad was, or Mike was 4. Bilzerian was only 2.
Fuck, I figured I'd fucking talk to him for days.
What, Bilzerian?
Yeah.
No,
Dude, he's like the fucking modern day Hugh Hefner.
yeah, he's great. He's got some great stories, and he tells new ones that I hadn't even heard before. Like he was raped by a woman.
Dude, you got to understand that motherfucker has lived.
He has lived for sure. He told a story one time. He was G'd out, and this girl. He woke up, and this girl was riding him, was having sex with him, and he didn't know who she was because he was so fucked up. And he looks at the video later, and he realized like he had actually been raped. Like that's what happened. And he told the girl when he was eating with her later, he's like, "If you were unattractive, I would have charged you with rape." Fucking as a man, he was.
See,
And that is the craziest story you ever heard. That's a pretty nuts story, dude.
How do you get fucking hard unconscious?
The G, I think, could make you hard. I think that's possibly what happened. I don't know. Or maybe the girl was just stimulating him. I don't know the whole part of the story.
Well, I wake up often with a woody.
There you go, because you're on TRT just like me.
100%.
Yeah. That stuff will get you.
Anybody says that they wouldn't be, they're lying, number one.
What about on TRT or hard?
TRT.
Yeah, TRT is great. I just made a video about it today, and like watching all the people talk shit about me is hilarious.
And what's funny is they think, if you get in shape, it's the TRT. It's not the TRT, dude. I was on TRT fat.
The TRT can make you
do TRT and don't do anything. I guarantee you nothing's going to happen. But TRT is not what does it.
The TRT
working out and eating right is what does it.
Exactly right. The TRT can make you fat because it'll increase your appetite from the lifting. So you're right. It's a combination of all those things.
The TRT accelerates. It doesn't do.
Yeah.
You know the difference? If I work out, tear down the muscle, the TRT helps me build it back quicker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Quicker. So if I don't work out, what will happen? Nothing.
Yeah.
So testosterone doesn't make people buff, doesn't do anything. It accelerates the repair process. So the diet and the exercise is what's making you in shape. The testosterone is simply accelerating the mending and the building.
Yes. It's sending you back to when you were like 19.
And and anyone that doesn't do it, I would say, is some way in denial. Like, go get your shit tested. If you're below 400, get up to about 1100.
11, really?
Yeah, 9 to 11.
Interesting.
And by the way, here's what most people don't know. I'll bet you still do it intramuscular.
No, I do it. I do the HCG through the fat, the semaglutide through the fat, and
that's called subcutaneous.
Yeah, and then the muscle stuff is just the test.
Right. Do you know that you can do tests subcutaneous?
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Why aren't you?
I've seen people say both. It doesn't make any
difference. It doesn't matter what people say. Why aren't you doing subcutaneous?
I'll tell you
easy.
I'll tell you why.
Better.
I'll tell you why. The reason why is, for whatever reason, there's a spot back here on both of my glutes where I don't feel any pain, and I can just stick myself easy. When I try to stick myself...
Is it right in the middle?
No, it's not. It's on the outside. Very funny. It's like the piriformis...
You're used to it.
The piriformis muscle out here. For whatever reason, there's these spots right here where there's just no nerve endings, and I can stick it and it doesn't hurt. When I do the side here, like in the fat, like right here, it just hurts like shit. So, I know it's for other people, it's different, but for me, I just have fewer nerve endings right here, so it's just easier for me to shoot in my butt.
Well... I did blood tests, obviously, on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
When I was shooting TRT intramuscularly, I had about 1,000 test level. Let's say, I got to go back and look, but let's just say, for sake of argument, 75 free test.
Mm-hmm.
All I did is started shooting it subcutaneously twice a week instead of once a week. And I went from fucking 1,000 to 1,000. So my test levels were still 1,000, but my free test was 250.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So the free test is what matters. I just told someone about it at the gym I was at, and I told him, I said, dude, do it subcutaneous. He goes, how are you doing that? I'm like, a 27-inch, a half
27
inch.
gauge.
27 gauge, half-inch needle. He said, how they won't go through there? I'm like, it does. So he finally got convinced and went and did it that way, and he says, dude, I got like a pop and a libido. I got like this.
Yeah, you can go sub-Q with the 29 gauge with the insulin needles.
But it's better.
Yeah,
that's why I'm doing it sub-Q.
I'll try.
It's not the muscle problem, but it does hurt sometimes in the butt. So I just started doing it sub-Q. I don't feel it at all.
Yeah.
It's done. It's quick. So anybody out there doing tests in the intramuscular, and sometimes you get that knot and you get sore, most people, and I'm talking about educated people, they don't know you can do it subcutaneous. Even the test doctor that I talked to first said intramuscular.
To my Daniel Del Rossi over at Ageless.
Intramuscular, they say. I quit going there because I do it subcutaneous, and they didn't want to. And I said, well, then I'll do it myself.
In the summer, I do 3 shots myself. In the winter, I let them shoot me because I just don't want to deal with it.
I guarantee you do it subcutaneous, you're going to go, dude, that was
done.
Awesome.
I'll start today. But I shoot myself 3 times a week.
You do blood tests?
Yeah, I do. But I do more than most people. I do maybe 6 a year. I do a lot.
Yeah,
so I want mine to be
one
perfect.
every 3 months.
Yeah, I want mine to be perfect. Yeah, that's the way I'm doing it. So maybe in a couple of weeks I'll do another blood test. But my estrogen levels is also something I'm pretty obsessed about.
But here's another thing. A lot of people don't realize that, women have less heart attacks than men.
Yeah, they have fewer, yeah.
Well, there's studies coming out now that, you take these
super low estrogen levels will cause you to have a heart attack, yeah.
Right. So in other words, when you take the test, your estrogen comes up. They'll give you the fucking gynecomastia. That'll give you the bitch tit and blah, blah, blah.
There's a middle ground. Yeah.
There's middle ground, and it's rare. And again, the doctors I'm talking to, which are like the most advanced in it, They're saying that fucking you don't need Clomid and estrogen blockers. Now, if you get too high, you probably do.
Yeah.
But they say normally they're blocking this estrogen when they should let it go because, again, you're less likely to have a heart attack with that estrogen.
Yeah.
So who knows? All I know is I ain't got bitch tit yet.
Yeah.
But, we'll give it time. I don't want gynecomastia.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go bald. If I fucking literally someone said, dude, you're going to go bald if you do testosterone, I'll stop.
Yeah, you're not.
I'd rather be fat with hair.
So there's a gene so basically it expresses sooner. So for instance, guys who abuse anabolic steroids, when they go bald from doing it, they had the gene to go bald. You're in your 50s and you haven't gone bald. You're not going to go bald. I don't think
because if someone said, Brad, you're just going to go bald, but you'll be buff and you'll be fucking vascular, I ain't going bald.
Yeah, unless you have some autoimmune disorder, Brad, I don't see how you're going to go bald.
Well, when I was in the Marine Corps, in the Marine Corps, they shaved my head. When they shaved my head, it looked like a fucking teardrop. I look like a fucking cone.
Brad, you were in the Marine Corps?
Yes.
How'd you never tell me this?
It's because I quit.
Oh, okay.
I can't claim it. I don't feel right claiming it because I didn't graduate.
You went to Paris Island and you just didn't finish.
I went to MCRD.
Okay.
I quit in the 11th week.
Okay. Yeah.
So I didn't become a fucking Marine.
Right.
But I was in the Marines. And they did shave my fucking head, and I did go through boot camp.
Yeah, mine looks like a teardrop too. That's why it's longer in the front.
But dude, I'm telling you right now, dude, when they shaved my fucking head, I looked at the mirror and I was the ugliest person I've ever seen in my whole fucking life. And I'm like, dude, I cannot be bald.
Yeah.
Now I want to shave it just to see. It was like, was that just my fucked up, distorted memory, or is it because I don't feel like a teardrop? But if I were going bald, dude, I'd be fucking done. So I'd stop. I'd rather be me, not people. I know buddies of mine that are bald. They look good bald. They look good bald. Not me.
Beautiful.
I ain't going bald. If I go bald, man, someone send me a Bosley's or some sort of, because there's new shit nowadays.
Dude, the transplants I've seen are incredible.
Dude, I know a buddy of mine. He's an actor.
Yeah.
Big old head of hair. You'll know him, especially if you're from Australia.
Yeah.
But, well-known dude, big old head of hair. Transplant. There's some shit that they're good nowadays.
Yeah.
But hopefully I don't need them.
Yeah, my hair back here is thick as shit. If I ever lost my hair, I would do transplants in 2 seconds. We were...
How old are you?
I'm 45. About to turn 46.
So it'd be gone if you were going to lose it.
Correct. Yeah, my dad had it at 64. When he died, he had full head of hair. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. But yeah, it's just a gene that express. So for instance, if the gene was going to express in your 40s, you start taking Tren and Deca, it's going to express in your 20s. That's why I'm saying, that's why people get worried about that kind of stuff.
Are we done?
Yeah. For sure.
9:40 frickin' 7.
You
bro.
good? Is that good? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, again, my wife's in Nashville, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I just remembered I have 3 little dogs in my foyer.
Oh, I thought we were going to go to a strip club. I didn't know what you were asking me about. I didn't know what was going on.
I got to go feed my mutts.
Okay. Are you coming tomorrow night for
And
Access
let them out. There's probably shit in my floor now.
Are you going to come to Access Vegas tomorrow with the 10 girls?
What time?
At 8 p.m.?
Is it like a big podcast?
Yeah, I'll show it to you. Yeah, it's live streams. 1,500 people watching us live. Usually gets about 60,000 views.
I'm in like Flynn.
Okay, cool. I'll tell Rollo. 100%.
Is Rollo there too?
Rollo sits here, I sit here, and there's 10 girls.
Here?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll be back.
We'll do
what
it.
time?
8 p.m.
I'll see you then.
Okay, awesome. Guys, thank you guys so much for coming. Today, I got to sit next to Robert Kiyosaki for 4 hours and sit next to Bradley. I'm living a dream. Thank you guys so much. Thank you once again. We're at 21 million views on YouTube. I appreciate that. Almost hit 300,000 downloads on Spotify and Apple Podcast, and 39 million views on TikTok. So I really, really appreciate that, man. I'm the growth. The fact that you guys keep coming up to me and telling me you like what I do, I really appreciate it. But when you watch my reels, I get a lot of them from Brad. The ideas for doing as many reels and the way I do reels, they come from Brad. So I'm really appreciative of the fact that you came on here. I definitely attribute a lot of the growth of Men of Action to the stuff that you're doing. Thank you guys, and we will see you all next week.